Okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Orange and to the Orange Ex-Services Club in this beautiful Coral Sea room, the Taran Cot room that we have here. And it's great to see so many people here today to help celebrate and launch Men's Health Week. And I want to begin firstly by thanking a few that we've had that have travelled some considerable distance, some of my parliamentary colleagues especially. I want to acknowledge those. We've got Steve Kamper, the Minister for Sport, Multiculturalism, Tourism and plenty of other things as well. Butler MP, Member for Barwon. We've got Dan Repacholi, the Federal Member for the Hunter and Special Envoy for Men's Health, appointed by the Prime Minister. So thank you. And we've also got Joe McGirr, Dr. Joe McGirr, who'll be joining us later, the Member for Waugh. So thank you to those parliamentary colleagues for coming along today, but a special welcome to all of you here this morning who have turned up to make this event such a special one. Today is much more than about arm wrestling, and while you still see plenty of friendly competition throughout the city, the real purpose of this event is to shine a spotlight on an issue that affects families, workplaces, sporting clubs and communities right across Australia, and that is men's health. Getting a grip was created as a fresh and engaging way to start conversations that don't always happen easily. And that symbolises, arm wrestling that symbolism of arm wrestling is very powerful. Two people facing off one another directly, meeting as equals, showing determination, respect and connection. And those qualities are essential when it comes to looking after your health and being supported by people around us. So despite a growing awareness, men continue to experience poorer health outcomes in many areas, as often delaying conversations, checkups, or seeking help until problems may be serious, and that can often be too late. Today's event aims to encourage early intervention and prevention, and to open discussions about taking action early, which can make all the difference. We're fortunate to have some outstanding lineup of speakers joining us today, including health professionals, mental health advocates, community leaders, sporting identities, who will share their knowledge, experience and insights. And their message is simple but important. Men's health matters. No one should have to face challenges alone. We'll also see a diverse group of competitors step up to the arm wrestling table throughout the day, from politicians and business leaders to former professional athletes, educators, first responders and community representatives. Their involvement reflects an important truth. Men's health is everyone's business, regardless of age, position or background. Thank you to all the speakers, participants, sponsors, volunteers and community supporters for helping make this event possible. And I know many of you have travelled considerable distance to be here on a Saturday morning of a long weekend. That is not lost on us. Most importantly, thank you for being here. We hope today's conversations continue well beyond this room, around dinner tables, workplaces, sporting clubs and amongst mates. Let's make Getting a Grip more than an event. Let's make it a start of stronger conversations, greater awareness and renewed commitment to men's health. In saying that, I want to now introduce our MC for this morning and today, and I'd like to especially invite to the lectern Mr. Barry Dubois. Barry, give him a round of applause.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Barry. Many Australians would know Barry from the living room, but his greatest work happens off-screen. A builder, a cancer survivor, a mental health advocate, a keynote speaker and a proud father of twins. Barry has spent years helping individuals, teams and communities build resilience throughout life's toughest challenges. Best-selling author, creator of several wellbeing programs such as the 5 Days to a Calmer, Stronger You, the Big C, the first 30 days diagnosis of treatment, the Cancer Patient's Guide to Parenting, and architect of the High Performance Humans Framework. Barry's honest storytelling, humour and practical wisdom, not political, and political,
if need
have inspired audiences across Australia. He is an ambassador for the Leukemia Foundation and board member of Are You OK Day. And Baz, we're extremely honoured to have you here today as our MC. We welcome Barry, and please give him a round of applause again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you, Phil. Phil's not going far because he's one of the early competitors, and I know we're all excited about that. Now, we're very lucky. I think what's going to happen today is going to ripple not only through this room but outside this room. But we're very lucky to have Channel 7 join us today as well. So that means what we create here, this grouping of hands, this connection, this human connection and community connection, the effect of that is going to ripple right across the country. So we're very thankful for that. What it means is we're going to have to stop and start a little bit. So what I'm going to try and do now is introduce Phil Rasmussen. Phil, come to the stage. He's the president of the Arm Wrestling Federation of Australia and vice president of the World Arm Wrestling Federation. He plays a key role in developing this sport across Oceania and advancing the sport right through the world. He's a multi-state competitor. I tested him earlier and I'm going to tell you he's pretty strong. And he's working with his team to just bring this sport to the country and grow it globally and through the state. Come to the stage, Phil. Phil's going to tell us a little bit about what's happening today, introduce our vice president as well as our head referee for today, and talk us through some of the safety. And I think we're going to get that done before we go live to Channel 7. So I'm going to leave it with you, Phil.
Thank you, Baz. Appreciate that. Look, thank you very much, everyone, and particularly Phil Donato and Brett for inviting us to this event. We're extremely honoured to be here. Myself, Phil, I've got Tom over here, Uglesha, our head referee, and Oz Kaglar, our vice president. So we're the Australian Arm Wrestling Federation, guys. So we're here to make sure we explain to you the rules of professional arm wrestling. So this is not, your backyard arm wrestling where you get these rules from pubs, and we're going to show you what it looks like on the world stage. And that's very real for us because we have the very real opportunity of getting to the Olympic stage at some point in the future. So today's going to be fun. We're going to teach you about professional arm wrestling. We're going to run through the rules. And I think let's start with getting the guys up here and showing you how does arm wrestling look at the professional level.
Thank you. So the boys are over the table. We're going to disconnect. We're going to go a live cross for Channel 7 in about 9 minutes. So Phil, talk us through how you make arm wrestling safe, because I know I've done some damage to a couple of blokes that have lined up. So I want you to, not in this room I'd say, but I'd like you to just talk us through how the boys prepare, if there's advantages and if there are safety precautions we should be taking.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there's more that meets the eye to arm wrestling. I think the general perception is it's a fairly one-dimensional activity, right? It's a combat sport. So with arm wrestling, we try and explain it's a combat sport without violence. Okay, you can have a day job and be a professional arm wrestler. Now, the key with arm wrestling is it's a game of leverage. Now, if you watch the two guys at the table, we've got Tom here in the referee shirt and Oz. First thing I'll say is, Oz is in a position now, this is not a position we want to see today. So when you leave your hand behind your body, okay, you look away, this is exactly how you do damage in arm wrestling. So the key with arm wrestling is always look at your hand. Whether you're winning, so Oz is in a winning position, or if he's losing, he's still in line with his hand, okay? That's the fundamentals of arm wrestling in terms of safety. Now, in terms of positioning, when the guys group up, you'll often see this if you're doing it at a family barbecue, one person's standing miles back. So if Tom stands way back from the table, okay, and his arm, the angle of his arm, this is not a strong position. Oz is very tight to his body, his hips are up against the table. It's all about leverage, okay? So you want to start hips against the table, keep yourself very tight. And arm wrestling fundamentally is a pulling sport. So one thing we always trying to say, it's not a pushing sport, it's a pulling sport. So it's a tug of war. So the first thing you want to do is pull backwards. So the pressure that Oz is applying there, he is pulling backwards and then to the side, okay? Biomechanically, this is a very safe way to arm wrestle. It's also a very strong way to arm wrestle. So today we're going to be watching for these positions. Tom will be adjudicating the matches. If we see positions that we don't like, that look remotely unsafe, we'll stop the match and we'll explain why we did that, and then we'll restart the match. I think the only other thing I'll call out is the elbow pad. Really the only rule of arm wrestling is do not lift your elbow off the pad, okay? So you get 2 fouls in an arm wrestling match. 2 fouls, you've lost the match. You'll get a foul for elbow up, elbow sliding off the back or the front of the pad. That's a foul. You can move your body wherever you want. So Oz, if his elbow's on, he can use his body. Arm wrestling is 100% an upper body sport. It's not, you can't use your body weight. You can if your elbow's on the pad. You must hold the pin pad at all times. And that's it. That's the fundamentals of arm wrestling. pin the opponent's hands on this, and it's a win. And one other thing that might happen, you might see some hands slip apart. So if the two competitors are arm wrestling, and they both slip, okay, this is when we bring out this strap. Once the strap is applied, there is no escape. Alright, so you're going to see this a few times today, and it favours the stronger athlete. So there's a bit of strategy as well in getting to the strap.
I want to say our first matchup is going to be one of the favourites of the day. Dan Repacholi, Olympian. He's also about 150 feet tall and giant arms up against local boy Phil Donato. Is there an advantage in having that long arm?
Definitely. Yeah, leverage, height. If you know how to use it, I'll say that. Height can be an advantage and a disadvantage.
I'm going to tell you, we'll talk about Dan later, but he's good at everything, so I think he'll know how to use his arms. We've got a few minutes left. Is anything else? Has anybody got any questions about arm wrestling? Jeez, I expected a lot more from you lot, that's for sure. We've got a few moments. Guys, something that, go ahead, we have got a question. What did Ben Ross do wrong? For those that don't know, Ben Ross is a good friend of mine, an Are You OK Day ambassador. Ben and Wendell Saylor were arm wrestling on the footy show, and I'll leave it to Phil because you were adjudicating that night. Ben Ross's arm snapped. So what they didn't do, and I'll let Phil explain it, they didn't go through the rules of engagement, and they did use body weight, they didn't use arm strength. But tell us what went wrong that night.
I was hoping that question would come up, and here we are. Right, so the footy show, look, that happened very quickly for starters. So that happened within, I'm going to say within 2 seconds of the match starting. So it was so fast as well. It wasn't really about positioning at all. You've got two super strong athletes. Both those guys, Wendell is a very big guy. You've seen Wendell in person. Two people pushing incredibly hard sideways. Something can give, okay? And like I said before, there wasn't a lot of pulling with those guys. I think they simply just pushed sideways, okay? So had we had probably more time with them and they had more time to understand the conditioning of arm wrestling, again, it's an appreciation for the fact that it's a sport. You can't walk into any sport and expect that you can just do well or that you're not conditioned for it. So I think that would be the main takeaway. More time explaining the positions of the athletes and conditioning your body to the sport.
Something else that's really important, we're about to do a cross, but I'm going to leave you with it just for a second. What all the athletes, all the competitors today are warming up. We've got a physiotherapist here in the back room, and he's helping warm up the arms and going through some of the exercises that make sure these things don't go wrong. Phil or Cookie, do you want to take control of this mic while I'm on the sunrise for a second? It's going to be a great day. We've got some amazing speakers today. We're blessed to have speakers like we do across a whole facet of different information. There are a few Q&As, so when our speakers are speaking, please think about something that you would like to know, because there are people in this room, even in this room, and I know this personally, that won't be brave enough to ask a question that they want an answer to. And if you have the ability, or if you can ask that question, know that you're not just asking for yourself, you're asking for someone that isn't brave enough at the moment to ask. So I'm going to leave it with Phil and Cookie for a second.
Right. In orange.
Thanks, Barry. I'm used to filibustering, so I'm sure I can fill in the gap for a few minutes, mate. So, look, can I just say again, Harry Fardell, big shout out to Harry down there, the physiotherapist, local guide. Thanks very much, Harry, for coming along today, volunteering your time and your skills and expertise. Some great stretches already. I'd encourage everyone who's going to be getting involved in an arm wrestle to get down there and go through a bit of a warm-up.
Barry, I've been on a stage or two, and I don't mind a mic, so this could go for a while. But going up against Phil, like Phil's a local member here, I'm just a blow-in. So we really want to make sure that you all get behind Phil and make sure that he does what he needs to do and flog me. But it'll be good. This is good just for awareness. That's what we need to be working on.
I love the fact that this is the first answer to a question I've ever asked a politician. I got a straight answer, I love it, and he's talking about himself. That's very good. Phil Donato, local legend. I like the fact that we grew up, believe it or not, a decade apart, of course, but in Liverpool, the gritty suburb of Liverpool. But where we were was just outside of that, Moorbank, and Market Gardens and that sort of thing. But you've, through your work as a policeman, working for New South Wales as a police prosecutor, you found yourself here in Orange and fell in love with the place. What was it that's got you to stay here and raise your beautiful family?
Yeah, good question, Barry. We moved here in 2005 and I got a transfer with the police force at the time. I was a police prosecutor and we were living in southwestern Sydney, not far from where we grew up, and I had 5 young boys at the time, and being in the cops in southwestern Sydney, you get a pretty unique insight into how things are going. And my wife was also in the police, and we wanted to bring our kids up in a regional community, and we wanted to sort of get out of Sydney, to be honest. So my brother-in-law was living and working out here at Water Farm, just south of town, working at the mine, and we used to come up and visit him quite a bit. And we thought, Orange ticks all the boxes in terms of schools, health facilities, sporting facilities, lifestyle. And I suppose, it was cheaper than Sydney, right? That was the reality back then. And we had a young family, so that were all key considerations. But it's a beautiful part of the world. I think it's the best regional city in New South Wales, Orange. That's, and I've been around a lot of towns. I mean, Dan from the Hudson is not going to agree with me, but Orange is something unique, and the Central West especially. The people are really lovely, they're friendly, they're loyal, they're solid of the earth people, so yeah.
Yeah, when you came in, there were some great facilities and ticked all the boxes, but thanks to you and the work that you and your team are doing, there's a lot more, and we're going to talk further about that later. But I'm going to say, up to the podium, and this is fair dinkum this time, this isn't for telly, this is the real thing. Tommy boy, is there anything they need to just touch on? I know that was for the TV. What were they doing? Anything wrong before? I know Phil. I don't know if anybody else knows, but he put a lot of work into the flex.
Look at the gun show.
Have a go at the gun show. Even before he gripped Big Dan's hand, he was well flexed. There's no doubt about that.
I've been doing push-ups all morning.
Yeah. Very good. Anything to add, Tommy?
I think the main thing is don't look away from your hand.
Yeah.
Don't look away from your hand. Don't turn away. We'll be right. I'll stop you if you talk.
Over to you, Tommy.
A couple of questions. As a tall bloke, is this regulation height? Can't go a bit higher? No.
Here we go.
I'm going to sit shoulders up and close up first. I'll rotate my hands around here. Stop this wrist a little bit. I will start. Ready, go.
Get him, Phil. Go on,
Come on, Phil. Come on, Danny. These guys are serious, aren't they? This is a show of strength for politics.
Right, Phil.
Get free.
Look at this.
Slow and steady. You got it. Come on.
We're matched.
Get him, Phil. Come on. Come on, Phil. Almost there.
Dan representing Australia in the Olympics 5 times. He's going to have a strategy here.
Shoulder forward. Come on, Phil.
Come on.
Do I let him win?
Look at this. Pull it on. We need a bit extra, boys. Let's go. It's a recount. We've got a handful of collegial trucks. Very good. Very good. Well, I had a magnificent victory. I think it was 2016 when you first came here. But today, how does it feel?
Oh, look, it's just great to get up against Dan right with
I can hold that. He's just grabbed that just so I can fix it again.
No, we use my left hand. Thanks, Dan, very much. Thanks for coming across. Dan's a terrific fella, and we're going pretty hard, Dan. Like, we weren't mucking around, but thanks for the work you guys do, and special envoy for men's health. Coming to an event like this here in Orange is really important for our community. For raising this awareness, I know you've been doing some great work. I follow you on socials right across Australia, so thanks very much, Dan. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I'd like to echo that. It's a long weekend. I know you're all here. Dan's from the Hunter, and I've done a little bit of work with Dan in Canberra. They're always working. You all are. And to give up your weekend here to come and to be a part of this, so I think it's to be commended. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're about 15 minutes behind, and we're going to jump straight into the next. Did you want to say something, Dan? Sorry.
I gave that one up.
He does love him more than me, I think.
He's already behind time, so we may as well not get it worse. But honestly, thank you, Phil, for setting this up. Thank you, Barry, for hosting and emceeing. And to all of you, thank you for being here. This is all about raising awareness. Us as blokes, sometimes we're not the sharpest tools in the shed when it comes to looking after our health. So anything we can do to just raise a little bit of awareness, to get a bloke to go see a GP, to get a bloke to have a conversation, to get a bloke to have a blood test, we will save some lives. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for all that you do. Cheers.
Thank you very much. We're going to go to the round ball now, and I'm going to ask our representatives from the Western City Wanderers to come up to the to the stage. I'm going to bring up Michael Haynes and Scott Hudson. Scott's the CEO of the Western Sydney Wanderers, and Michael is the head stakeholder of engagement at the Western Sydney Wanderers. Now, these come over to the stage, guys. Big round of a hand, a big round of applause. Well, you two are constantly working to make football, and particularly the Western Sydney Wanderers, bigger and stronger. I know that both of you work very deeply with community, and that's important to you. What does it mean to be here today?
Yeah, great honour to be here, and thank you to Phil Mileto. We've known Phil for a number of years, and he invited us up. You know, we think football touches the most amount of people in the country, you know, based on age, gender, ability, culture as well, and we know that particularly mental health is an issue that deeply affects our community. So we just want to do our bit for the community, make it a better place. We're super passionate, particularly around young people. It's tough growing up in society, particularly all the pressures, particularly for young footballers. So we're here to do our bit and be a good corporate citizen and improve the community that we're all living in.
There's no doubt about it, and I see it with my work at AUOK Day. Resilience is lacking with the youth of today, and we're working in many ways to do that. But there is no better way to build resilience than join a team, is there?
Absolutely. Excuse me. Teamwork teaches you so many great traits. It's around working together, around winning and losing, how to handle both.
Yep.
It's how to accept decisions, all of those things with good grace. So it's hugely important being part of the team.
And that hierarchy of needs, that sense of belonging and direction and setting goals, that's what creates great humans of the future. Well, are either of you nervous?
We agreed that we're fighting for Michael's pay rise for this next 12 months, but we've also agreed that if I win, that we deduct that off his salary next year. So.
Was all happening. I don't know if you've ever done any army wrestling before, but the rules are a little different to the round ball, so there's no headbutting and no kicking. You're underway.
No diving.
No taking. If one of you falls over, don't roll out of the room. Here we go. And everybody says we're going to have fun. I've never seen more deadly serious faces in my life. Go! No? I love that we tell our kids everybody's a winner. But there's nothing better. There's nothing better than crushing your mate, is there? Come on. Tommy, give us some hints. Tell them what they got to do.
Look, I think they just need to pull back a little bit hard and actually do something. You've got to do something.
No sweat yet, but I can see a lot of pressure. Keep looking at that hand. Keep pulling it down. There's some muscles working here. It's getting closer. There's that decision. Fantastic. Fantastic, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay up with me for a second, guys. What a match. Did you enjoy that?
I'm not sure.
Speechless.
I feel like that's career limiting slightly.
Career limiting. Now, we know how beautiful Orange is, and you've come to do something truly special. Gripping hands for Men's Health Week is really important. But Orange is a little bit more than that for you, isn't it? I mean, I'm not sure if everybody in the room's aware of it, but Orange the Western Sydney Wanderers are working with the community of Orange and the surrounding suburbs because there are feeder clubs for the Western Sydney Wanderers that come out of Orange. And the new stadium that's being built, what sort of effect is that going to have to the level of football or soccer that we have in Australia?
Well, it's going to be huge for the region. Like it's probably the best regional facility in New South Wales, I expect, once it's done. So it'll be great to, particularly for the local community, to be able to use it, but also for potentially for clubs like ourselves to come out and use it as well, and bring A-League football to Orange.
Bring football to Orange, but also take some of the talent from Orange back to Sydney and around the world. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. We know, football is alive and strong in the region. I think it's over 3,000 participants locally, which is the biggest grassroots sport. And everyone, regardless of where you live, deserves opportunity. So it's our responsibility as a professional club to provide access, good coaching, our IP in terms of developing talent and opportunity to young kids, both boys and girls, to progress to the next stage. We know that football is going to be on everyone's minds over the next month as the World Cup kicks off next week. So every young kid deserves a chance to dream big and represent the national team.
Thank you, gentlemen, and thanks again to the people, the governance of Orange, because that stadium is a result of that. And you can hear from the boys how powerful that's going to be, the ripple effect that's going to have. Fantastic work. Big hand for the guys. Well, Tommy gets to take a break because we've got our first guest speaker, and I'm going to ask Jack Buckley to come to the podium here if I can. Is Jack there? Jack's a respected pharmacist and pharmacy owner, the Life Pharmacy Group. Jack is passionate about improving community health outcomes and has built a strong reputation for delivering accessible, preventable care services with particular focus on education and early intervention. He is also a strong advocate for men taking a proactive approach to health and well-being. And today, especially, Jack has generously set up in the coral room behind us here, so that anybody in the room can go in after this talk and have a health check. And we're going to hear from Jack now, and there'll be a little Q&A after that. So big round of applause for Jack. Thank you.
Thanks Barry, and g'day everyone. Thanks for having me here today. I'm a bit of a young, dubious idiot at times, and I take life pretty wholeheartedly and easily. But I take men's health very seriously. So, being a country boy and being a healthcare professional, working out in regional areas, which I'll talk about shortly, the impact that pharmacies can have and pharmacists can have on men's health is just astronomical. So, I think Dan Repacholi, I saw a photo on Facebook this morning of him holding a penis with one of my colleagues at Parliament House only a couple of days ago. So I'm involved in the Life Pharmacy Group and a little movement called Men Health Down Under, which we do quite a lot of work on with men's health that we've got Dan behind now as well. So I've got to say, Phil, well done. When I was asked to speak today at this event called Getting a Grip, I thought, here we go, this sounds interesting, but what an awesome way to rip the band-aid off and trying to help ease the stigma around men's health. So I think it's much nicer seeing this arm wrestling table here rather than a little awkward circle of chairs with some herbal tea and a bit of kombucha or something like that. So well done, Phil. I think it's interesting too, looking around, there's a room full of men and women here that, you know, they say that they're not competitive, but they're sizing everyone up around the room to see who they compete in an arm wrestling competition. So it's probably a good place to start, because we generally as men are often full of shit when it comes to our healthcare, particularly in regional areas. We think we're fine, we think the pain will go away, we pretend the blood pressure reading was just because we had a cup of coffee or watched the news. We blame that the jeans shrunk in the washing machine, and we think that getting up a handful of times in the night to go to the toilet's just a part of getting older. But sometimes getting a grip is the pun. Getting a grip, it's not about how strong your arm is. It's about getting a grip on your health before something small turns into something serious. So at Life Pharmacy Group, we've got stores in Bathurst, Orange, Parks, Forbes, Dubbo, Wellington, Queanbeyan and a few in Canberra. Our motto is locals caring for locals. And that's exactly how we see men's health as well. So I'm not here to lecture anyone, we're not here to scare anyone, but we're definitely not here to make anyone feel awkward too, because we do broach a few awkward topics. We're here to make it easier for men to ask questions and get support early. The reality is a lot of men don't engage with the healthcare system until it's either too late or they absolutely have to. Many blokes will get their ute serviced, they'll get their oil changed, get their tyres done, polish their bull bar, but they won't check their blood pressure since joining out was PM. So I think it just goes to show events like this is fantastic to lifting the stigma around men's health. So look, within pharmacy, like a mechanic generally wouldn't change your tyres. They'll send you to a mate that's got a tyre shop down the road. And that's exactly what we do in healthcare. It's about putting people in the right, matching people up with the right connections. So we as pharmacists can have a chat, initiate some forms of treatment, diagnose some things. If it's outside of our scope of practice, we're still a good point to talk to because we can then put you into contact with one of our mates, probably not the tyre fitter, but maybe a GP or a physio or something along those lines, depending on what's needed. So community pharmacy is often the easiest place to start as well. You don't always need an appointment, you don't have to wait weeks, and you don't have to sit in a waiting room reading a magazine from 2016. You can walk straight into a pharmacy, ask for a private chat and say, hey mate, can we have a chat? It's that simple. We can chat sex, drugs and rock and roll, or we might even be able to talk heartburn, pain, sleep, stress, blood pressure or medication queries. It could be something more fun, like a problem with your old fella, which is what we do quite a lot with our men's health business and within our community pharmacies as well. So having troubles getting it up, it dribbles too much or it wakes you up too many times in the night for emptying, it's still an easy chat and there's solutions that we can work on together. They're very common and they're much easier to deal with when we talk about them early. Early intervention's key. So if your blood pressure's high, it's worth a chat. If you're feeling flat, angry, tired, anxious, or not yourself, it's definitely worth a chat. If things in the bedroom aren't working like they used to, it's worth a chat. And no, the pharmacist has not heard anything that they haven't heard before, and we tend to talk a lot more about breasts and vaginas than what we do about penises and ball sacks. So I think it says a lot about men as a cohort. We're working to break the stigma, but we're not there yet, so it's good to keep talking about it, do your bit. We can help with urological conditions, men's health and wellbeing, chronic disease support, medication reviews, blood pressure checks, diabetes support, vaccines, preventative health advice. The list goes on and on and on. But sometimes that quick little conversation in a pharmacy can save a lot of trouble. I often say that 5 minutes in a pharmacy could save a night in an emergency department, because if we can pick up something early and point you in the right direction or stop something getting worse, it's a win-win. And to be honest, no one really wants to spend a night in an emergency department wearing a paper gown with your bum hanging out the rear end. So the other big thing about pharmacy and healthcare is privacy. So as I said before, pharmacies are accessible, but they're also private. So you don't have to announce your problems to the whole shop. You can ask to speak to us privately. That's what we're here for, and all of our pharmacies have between 3 and 7 clinic rooms in each store. If your pharmacy that you visit doesn't have a clinic room, my advice is that it's generally not a healthcare destination, it's more so a retail outlet. So find one that has a clinic room. That means that they're there to talk health. At Life Pharmacy Group, we generally believe that pharmacists have a major role to play in improving men's health outcomes, especially in our rural and regional communities. So we see men who are working long hours, running businesses, farming, trucking, supporting families, coaching footy teams, volunteering and looking after everything else, but not themselves. So today, while everyone's here having a laugh, watching a few arm wrestles, the message is pretty simple. Get a grip on your health, not tomorrow, not when it gets worse, not when your wife, partner, mates, kids, or someone forces you to do something. Start early, have a chat, ask questions, speak to your pharmacist. You don't have to have the perfect words or the right literature. You can literally just walk in and say, mate, let's have a chat. Looking after your health's not soft, it's not a weakness, it's actually one of the strongest things you can do, because being strong is not just about winning an arm wrestle, it's about being around for your family, your mates, your work, your community and the things that you love to do. So enjoy the event, good luck in the arm wrestling, those left to go, and pop in and see us in the little room next door for a quick health checkup. You never know what the conversation might lead to. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stay here. I'm going up straight up. Is there any questions? I know that there's quite a few images in my head, but I'm confused with. But has anybody else got any questions they'd like to take to Jack right now, or anyone? I was chatting. We had a drink last night, Cookie and I, in the bar. I might get you to come over, Cookie. Sorry to surprise you, buddy. But we were chatting, and you shared an experience with me, if you remember, about a health check and what that. Would you mind sharing that today?
Yeah, thanks, Baz. I was telling Baz last night that down in Parliament last year, I participated in a small health check, just like Jack's going to run in the next room. The blood test revealed some elevated numbers. I went and saw the GP, got some more blood tests and discovered that I had chronic kidney disease. So I found it out early, so before hitting the stage where I need dialysis or a transplant, I'm able to manage it now. So just that simple test helped get it early, and now I can manage it. So I encourage everyone to participate in the test that Jack's going to run next door. Take a few minutes.
Yeah, a couple of minutes, that's it. Yep.
And that could reveal something that can make a big difference to the health and future of life. So yeah, thanks, Baz.
Thank you very much, Cookie, and it's early detection. Thank you, Cookie. Hey, while you're clapping, keep clapping, because Cookie has put so much work into today. Phil will tell you about it for sure. He's been on the phone a million hundred times. The amount of emails I've received is incredible worker, and it's a real credit to you, Cookie. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jack. You'll be back in. You'll be in the back room there, and if all else fails, I'll get you up in an arm wrestle later. Now, I've got a couple of characters coming to the stage. Lachie and Greig, you know who you are. I'll get you to come up. Now, these guys, a couple of characters and hospitality workers. I'm not going to read these bios the way you've got them written here, boys. But there's a couple of larrikins on stage right now. You all know Chewy from the Heifer Station cellar door. He's the cellar door manager. And Greig is a little quirky, I'm told. A little quirky. And he's a larrikin, and he represents Philip Shaw Wines and the iconic Huseg. Is that, am I saying that wrong? Huseg cellar door experience. Guys, which one's Chewy? Chewy. Dancing with the Stars fame here, people. This guy, both these guys do a lot for charity, and you competed in the Orange Dancing with the Stars. Is that right? Yeah. And is that a passion, or is that just something you practice a lot in the bedroom? How did it happen?
Mum always told me I did a good job, so I just decided to go pro.
Very good. And as far as starting to go pro, and let me understand this: will the outcome of today sort of decide whether you go into dancing, or is it all going to end here today for you?
Dancing's not on the table.
Right. Well, there's a lot of pressure to win this match. Now, boys, I'm going to. It's about who's got the best Chardonnay. I'm sure it is. Well, don't do an injury here. I was worried with Dan earlier, watching his big arm, and that was his trigger finger arm as well. So I'm wondering if you've got a drinking arm, should you be using the other arm in case there's an injury? Probably. All right, boys, jump up on the stage there. Tommy, you guide them through it, and we'll get this one underway. Nothing spurs a man on more than being cheered, I can tell you that. Elbows down, it's a pulling action.
Are we ready?
Go, Chewy. Come on, Twinkle Toes.
Go for that, man.
That's it. Great.
Is that all we got, boys? Come on.
Haven't we matched these people up so well? What was that? We're a couple of hospitality workers. There's no beer bellies here. This is all bicep. They've lifted a lot of Chardonnays. Come on. Keep an eye on those arms. Cheer them on, team. Cheer them on. Come on. You know, Cookie said to me, it's not going to be serious. It's just going to have a bit of fun. I've never seen more competition in one room. Here he goes. Go, Greig. Come on, Greig. Do it for the wine growers of Australia. Who's got the big cellar door? Come on, Lachlan. Chewy, you can come back, son. Come on, Twinkle Toes. These guys will not be able to move their arms for a week, I can see it. Come on, Lachlan. You got him, Greg. Keep going. Good matchup. Some fantastic matchups. Boys, don't go away. How do those arms feel? How do those arms feel?
A little soft.
He's got something hidden up here.
He's got some hidden. Maybe we should be testing for steroids, Chewy reckons. But anyway, next up, I've got a couple of real estate agents. They know who they are. I know they've been warming up. Now, in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, where I'm from, the real estate agents come with a lot of ego. What should I be expecting from these guys today?
Of these two?
Yeah.
Well,
you know them.
I do. They'll do anything to get a sale sometimes. You got to watch it.
Let's see who can close this one out. Thanks very much, Greg. Boys, here you are. Now, a couple of real estate agents. A lot of opportunities in the room here today, boys. Have you been here in our cards?
You're not yet.
Rather than me reading the bios, just tell us in a few minutes a little bit about yourself. Because I know a lot. There's nothing a real estate agent loves talking about more than himself. So here we go.
Bought houses. My name's Scott Petersen. I've been an Orange local for about 16 or 17 years. Born and bred in a little place called Cadoga up on the New South Wales Queensland border. That's about all you need to know.
So all you need to know, that that's where you go if you need to sell something. What do you think?
Snowden. I'm from our city, real estate. Not born and bred, but close to. And I think I'm probably the second best agent here, but definitely the best arm wrestler.
You know, very good. A little bit of confidence come out. I love that. I love when there's an ego bigger than mine on stage. It doesn't come up very often, but there it is. Guys, as real estate agents though, you are deeply connected to community. And a lot of the time, when you're working with those members of the community, they are under pressure. How important to the community and to you both are days like this?
Yeah, I think it's something that McGrath and our city do well. We get behind a lot of charities and organisations, you know, from camp drives, radios, right through to sporting clubs. But yeah, seeing us Phil threw it out there, Glenn and I couldn't wait to be here. And
do you want to add to that, Glenn?
I just think we're lucky to have a member like Phil, personally. He's, I'm not a real political person, but I like him. He's always around, chatty, always a supporter of mental health and everything else community.
Yeah, I think a politician generally is doing something right when everybody in the community knows him and he clearly cares. But what we care about now is seeing who is going to kick whose ass on the table. Let's go, boys. After that chat from Jack earlier, I figured I could get away with saying ass. Balls, where do you come up with that? I know he swallowed the microphone. But then he said something else and I want to stay right away from that. Here we go. Keep him close. The thing is, I love about this, these guys are deep in competition, I can see it already. But if someone says sail, they'll drop the table and say sign here. There's no doubt about it. Well, we're straight into another well-matched setup. This is harder than an open inspection, I can tell you. And there's a lot of ego on the line. Come on, Scotty, you've come back. Oh, there it is. Great matchup, boys. Thank you again. Thank you again. How's the arm feel? You'll feel it tomorrow. Yesterday I got talked into that push-up challenge for suicide landline. I did 20 push-ups. When I woke up this morning, I could hardly move. You guys are going to be suffering later, and I hope that's not your signing hand. But good luck and thanks for it. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for everything you do within the community, guys. Thanks for turning up today. Big round of applause, guys. That was really special. Okay, we've got a guest speaker. And this is a very important guest speaker, and he's got 2 roles today. I'm going to ask Honourable Steve Kemper to come to the stage. The Minister is the Australian, for the Australian Labor Party, a politician who served as member for Rockdale in New South Wales Legislative Assembly. Is Steve here? I saw him earlier. We'll rally Steve. He's currently the New South Wales Minister for Lands and Property, Minister for Multiculturalism, Minister for Sport, and Minister for Jobs and Tourism. This guy covers some portfolios, there's no doubt about it. Before entering politics, he's out there doing a deal, I can see. Before entering politics, Steve spent 30 years as a senior partner in his firm's accounting firm at Kemper Chartered Accountants in Rockdale. Steve and his wife, Magna, have raised 5 beautiful children in Sydney South and are proud grandparents. He'll be here on the stage for us very shortly. How are you enjoying the event so far? Good. Has anybody wished they had enrolled? Have you seen anybody, although they've all been big boys so far, have you seen anybody and said to yourself, I could beat him? Has anybody done that? You've done that? You know, that's what I do. I live in Bondi Beach, and everybody says to me, you go on this city to surf. And I say, no, I don't have to. So what I've done, I've worked out, I'm only about 50 metres from the beach, so I walk down to the end of the street. And I just watch the competitors coming through. And then I sort of position and I thought, yeah, I would have beat that guy for sure. It looks like I would have done it in an hour. And I seem to finish in around an hour every year. Steve, come to the stage, mate. I've done your bio. You've got a big bout coming up against Roy Butler. Are you more nervous about this full talk or the arm wrestling bout that's coming up?
I'm not really nervous about the arm wrestling. Just put it on record. The last time I arm wrestled was over 35 years ago. That was Phil Kearns, and I beat him. So I've got form, but it was 35 years ago. So I'm a little bit nervous in terms of arm strength, but we'll give it a good show, won't we, Roy? But I just want to say it's just really great to be here. What a great initiative. Thank Phil Donato and everyone involved in organising today. It's really important that we appreciate how important it is to, as men, to actually talk a little bit more about our issues. I'm a father of 5 kids. I've got 3 sons. I've actually got 9 grandsons. And it's time that we all started focusing on talking to each other about our issues. We hear all the stories about, I had this issue, and you keep it in. There was a period shortly after I became minister, I went through a very difficult period, just taking on a whole heap of ministries in one go, and I was struggling. I was dizzy. I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I wasn't talking. I wasn't talking to anyone. My blood pressure was over 200. I actually didn't turn up for a vote in the House because I was just on the lounge screaming. I was delirious and I was screaming at everyone. I didn't know what was going on, But I didn't know everyone around. There's many around me that have suffered from blood pressure problems and issues, and could have advised me at any stage with what I was going through if I spoke about it. And that's what today's about. Is reinforcing that it's very important. All of us, us men, that we're not too proud when we're feeling it. It's not weak. It's strong to say something, and it's good to say, and it's good to promote that as a culture amongst us, because we've got the next generation. Like I said, I've got sons and grandsons. If I'm not setting an example, we're going to be passing down the same type of attitude. So I really thank everyone for being here. This is a fantastic initiative. I'm a little bit nervous about the arm wrestle, but we'll be careful, won't we, Roy? I just want to thank everyone again for this initiative. It's been a pleasure to come here to Orange. I've visited here on a number of occasions. I love as the sports minister, we've got a whole lot happening in terms of sports facilities here, and I'm very proud of that. It's a great town, and I very, very much appreciate the representation. You know, as a member of the New South Wales public, the representation of Phil Donato in this region. Thank you so much.
Very good. So, just looking, echo everything you say there. You know what's really important? Steve just touched on something that I think is really, really important, and that is that we're not. What you spoke about bravery. You know, it's an interesting thing. The mental health conversation really has only been around for about 15 years. I'll tell you something. When I first started on TV, I live with blood cancer. Some of you may know that. And the TV producers said to me, and because this is what they do with TV people, they said, Baz, we love your cancer story. We're going to align you with a cancer charity. I said, I'm not interested in a cancer charity. It's not my narrative. I'm connected to Are You OK Day. And both those producers stepped back away from me when I said that. They said to me, Baz, we can't talk about suicide. We can't talk about mental health on TV. Now, thanks to people in Parliament like yourself and Phil and others, being vulnerable enough or brave enough, I like to say, to share some of your issues, that empowers people that might not have the strength to share. So that's a really commendable thing. Everything you do in politics is fantastic. But as someone that we look up to and society looks up to, showing your strength to be vulnerable is something braver than you can understand. And it sends a message further than you can realise. So I personally want to say thank you very much. And warm up for that bout. Have some pucker. There's some big biceps jumping around here today, so be careful. We're going to jump straight into another speaker. Bruno, I'm going to get you to come up. Bruno is the founder of Tradies Insight, a grassroots innovation focused on supporting mental health and well-being of tradespeople and men in regional communities. With more than 20 years experience in construction industry as a carpenter and 15 years as a business owner, Bruno here has seen firsthand the pressures faced by tradies, business owners and their families. Driven by a passion for breaking down stigma, and create stronger support networks, Bruno established Tradies Insight to encourage open conversations, connection with men and managing challenges in this modern world. Welcome to the stage, Bruno. I think we can have a little Q&A after that. I've heard Bruno speak before. It's quite profound. So if you have anything, be brave enough to ask. It might help someone else out. Thank you, Bruno.
Thank you, Barry. I'd like to start by thanking Phil Donato for the invitation to be here today. It's such a privilege and a great honour to be here with you all in this important day and important conversation. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bruno Efoti, and I'm the founder of Tradies Insight, alongside my wife, who is here today with me. Tradies Insight is a preventative mental health wellbeing organisation that aims to bridge the gap between crisis and hope. It is about early intervention, connection, and practical support before people reaching crisis point. Here's the reality. People do not suddenly wake up one morning in crisis. Pressure, stress, grief, loneliness build. And often people slowly fall through spaces nobody realised existed. At Tradies Insight, we often say, we work in the gaps. The gaps between struggling and crisis. The gaps between needing support and asking for it. The gaps where people are silently carrying enormous pressure while the world around them thinks they're okay. I spoke to a Tyler on the phone one day. At first it sounded like an ordinary conversation, but slowly the truth came out. He had recently lost his sister in a car accident. His wife had left him. His daughter had stolen from him. Financial pressure was building. Emotionally, he was exhausted. And during that conversation, he told me something that shook me. He said, If this phone call didn't happen today, I don't think I'll still be here. Just think about that for a second. How many people around us are carrying enormous loads without complaint? How many people go to work every day smiling while internally falling apart? That is why grassroots organisations matter, because there's a cost when organisations like ours do not exist. And the cost is not just financial, the cost is broken families, isolation, addiction, disconnection, and lives lost. We often talk about mental health as though it is a clinical issue requiring clinical intervention, and clinical services are incredibly important. People need psychologists, therapists, crisis support. But mental health is also a social issue because humans are wired for belonging, for connection, and for community. Yet so many people today feel disconnected from everyone around them. And I believe connection is what's missing. One day at our shed, a group of men had gathered around our dinner table while I was cooking lunch. As I looked up, I noticed a man standing at a doorway. He looked in, saw the group, turned around and walked away. So I followed him. He told me he suffered severe social anxiety. Big groups terrified him. He said he simply couldn't do it. I reassured him. No pressure, mate, we're just having a yarn while lunch cooks. Eventually he agreed to come in. People introduced themselves, stories started flowing, conversation started naturally. As I was cooking, I suddenly heard loud laughter. And the man who couldn't walk through the door was now the loudest person in the room, talking, laughing, connecting. What changed? Well, not the person. It was the environment. He finally felt safe. Months later, he came back to tell me something I did not expect to hear. He said after that day, he went and bought a dinner table for his family because before then, they ate separately in front of the television. Now the TV gets turned off. The family sits together, the kids talk about their day, they connect. Then another family heard this story and also bought a dinner table. One conversation, one meal, one space, one safe space created ripple effects into multiple families. That is grassroots intervention. Not because we have all the answers, but because connection itself is intervention. At Tradies Insight, we're not replacing clinical services. We are filling spaces they cannot always reach. We stand in the gaps because sometimes the difference between someone falling through the cracks and someone finding hope is simply whether someone was standing there when they needed connection most. So this morning, I want to leave you with this. Be in the gap. Check in with those around you early. Create safe environments for all your connection. Invite people in, have conversations, share a meal. And when people feel seen, connected, and loved, hope has room to grow. People have room to heal, and lives have room to change. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruno. That was beautiful and quite provocative. The thing is, for me, come over here, Bruno. You know, I started out as a chippy myself, a tradie, and with my role at RUOK Day this year, or it was last year actually, I was really disturbed by something I wasn't aware of. Blue collar workers, or the construction industry particularly, has overtaken all other categories for the highest rate of suicide in this country. You know, 56% of all suicides in this country come out of the construction industry. And sadly, this breaks my heart, and I'm working with politicians, both state and federal, to try and combat this. But an apprentice in the construction industry is 3 times more likely to take his life than in any other industry. I've got some theories on that, and they relate back, or they're solved by what Bruno was just talking about, connection and understanding. Understand this about life that we live in today. There are different languages. From Zoomers to Boomers, they're different languages. And I was talking to Bruno earlier, and I said, it's interesting that blue-collar workers or construction workers, it's a different world, and I relate back to when I started my apprenticeship. You go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning as a boy. That afternoon, you're a man. It's the quickest transition that any human has to go through. You know, I grew up in the day of hazing, and I went through a whole stack of issues that I know a child at 16, a young man at 16, could not adapt to today. And that's why only 50% of apprentices in the construction industry finish their trade. We're talking about housing crisis and things like that, but the people that were trained to build those houses are dropping out at a rate of 50%. And it's because they're dumped into the deepest pool of testosterone and personality that exists. I love that industry. It made me who I am. But we have to understand, as leaders in any area, as governance of the country, or a leader in a corporation, or on a site, these kids particularly don't necessarily understand the same language we do. Do you find that when you're working with Trophies Insight?
We do, yes. So when I started working as an apprentice myself, about nearly 30 years ago, it wasn't the language we used then, but more and more today, young people are trying to cope with the pressure of life today, and they're breaking. The pressure that we used to have back then, we had to find a way to do it. But our young people today really, really struggle with that. So the reason why we're here, we want to be able to guide them because, as you said, the future of our nation, of our industry, we need to invest in them.
The other category of high suicide is builders and construction workers retiring. You know, Dan manages 60 people in his local workshop. And can you imagine being that guy on site who is looked up to, who's respected? He has a strong community of great characters around him, and then he retires. He's got a TV, a betting account, and nothing else. He's lost his sense of meaning and direction. We have to, as a community, realise that there are certain rules, sympathetic and empathetic rules, that as a community we need to engage in. We need to be checking in on people. We can't wait for that guy who's sitting at home alone to say he's having a shit day. We need to say, how are you going? What are you looking forward to? What's next for you? Because you've got a great legacy to pass on. I want to thank you for your words, Bruno. I'm going to ask you now to jump up, get some food. For those competitors that are coming, and there's some big ones. Phil is coming back. There's some big competitors. Get some food into you, have a drink, and get ready to cheer on some hot competitors after the break. Beautifully. This is going to be exciting.
No way.
No. For me. Fan of both of you, so it's a big day for me personally, and I think that's important that I'm having a good time, isn't it? Yeah. Phil? Yeah. Well, there's a couple out there that are going to keep the food. You know, I really don't think James or Phil need introduction, but I'm going to run through these. James Brown is a former Australian rugby player, playing rugby union for the Wallabies, and later switching codes. He went over to rugby league and joined the Balmain Tigers in the 80s, 1980. After retiring from professional rugby, James became involved in coaching, community development, particularly with young Indigenous men. The important foundation focused on improving education, discipline and self-esteem, and employment prospects for young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander boys. Welcome, James. Phil Kearns. Do I really need to read this bio?
No, you don't.
No. Everybody in the room knows this man. As you know, Phil is an exceptional talent and leader. He's former rugby union player who represented the Wallabies 67 times. I'm getting the crack in my throat just saying it out loud. He captained the team on 10 occasions. He was a member of the Australian Rugby World Cup winning teams of 1991 and 1999. He's only one of 43 players who have won multiple Rugby World Cups. After his retirement from the game, he transitioned into a successful career of commentating, and I'm good mates with Berkey, and I used to love watching you commentate, and all the charitable organisations that he's involved with. He was taken into as a member of the Order of Australia in 2017 for his significant service of community through support for charitable organisations, to business and to rugby union at elite level. As I said, if no one else in the room is excited about this bout, I am. But before we link arms, I just want to say something. And again, I've touched on it, but it's incredible to me, the turnout of this event. It's a long weekend where none of us have got any time to do anything, but people have turned up from all over the country. It's a credit to you, Phil, but it's also a credit to the fact of what we're doing. Everyone's volunteered their time for free, and for me in itself, that's a really powerful thing. But James, I want to ask you, why is it important for you to be here today?
Well, a couple of things. One, I wanted to get Phil's autograph, because 2 World Cups in the Bledisloe Cup, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm not that excited to arm wrestling, though. But I think, and I've known Phil for quite some time, and I know what he does with the community and what he puts into the community. This type of topic is really... Yeah, Phil didn't know that. It's really important to me. One, I work with a lot of youth that we deal with a lot of issues going on in their world. So it's really important that we work, when working with those youths, we give them good grounding so when they go in the communities, they can contribute really well. Not everyone gets that, so and understand in communities that there are issues there. So the more we can get together, and being in a community is such an important thing. So for someone who gets a community event going, I think it's really important that we share some time and support that sort of thing. So I was always in.
Yeah, I think what you just said is a really important thing to come back to, adaptability. What you're teaching those young men is adaptability, and as far as pillars of strong mental health particularly and health, adaptability is along with security, a sense of belonging, are really important things. Phil, there's no doubt about it, you've been involved in sport on some of the biggest stages in the world. I'm going to ask you a similar question. Why is health, men's health particularly, and connection so important? Why does it matter?
Well, I think one of the words that is not used enough these days is resilience. And we need to build resilience, and that's through community connection, but making people aware of what the issues are out there and letting them know what they could face into the future, so they can start to build that resilience against social media is the biggest scourge these days, and that is such an issue. So resilience is critical, and coming along with things like this is just part of being a wonderful community, and that's why I live out here now, because it's a wonderful community.
It is a wonderful. You want to say something?
I was just going to say that we all have our challenges in life, and putting a day on like this today just goes to show no one is alone. That's right. Like sometimes you feel like the walls are closing in on your own. No one is alone. There's a lot of really good people out there, and they want to help. So if anybody does feel like they are alone, go down and have a coffee or a beer or go to the footy or do something like that, and you'll meet a mate. But there's plenty of people out there who want to help, and this is a great community. No one's alone if you've got dramas going on.
Thank you very much for that. I'm going to ask you 1 or 2 questions after the bout, but I can feel there's a lot of pressure. Just to add on to what James just said, and it's not something I made up, but I love this saying, and that is that it's going to be okay in the end. So if it's not okay, we're not at the end. It's a really important message. Well, jackets off, I reckon, boys. Like I said, what a stage, What a couple of competitors and what an event. Hey, someone put the memo out. Tommy, you're going to talk them through. Let's recap on the safety issues that comes to arm wrestling.
Just go hard, we'll go home.
Sounds like Tommy Redonin gets given the Blues some advice. Just rip in, don't give it.
Do not look away from me again. At no time, turn your shoulders away. It's a pulling game, not a pushing game. Ready? Keep your hands there. Ready, go.
Here we go. Couple of warriors. Are they warriors today or are they modern day elders? A modern day elder to me is someone that shares their experiences. The music's ramping up, the biceps are flexing. I want to get a photo of myself in this as well. Keep on me. For God's sake, before this is over, someone get a photo of me and Phil together. I tell you, we've matched this up, or someone's just playing a bit coy. He's bringing it on. It's 1999 all over again. Fighting through the injuries. Biceps are pumping. You should see the veins from this angle, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness. Yeah. He's pushing. Look at this. This is power. Oh, it's coming back, James. It won't be done. Oh! Phil just said, how long have we got to go for? Is he looking for the way out? Oh, there it is. There it is. Congratulations. No pressure at all, James.
But there's plenty of pressure there. When he started to look at me, I remember what he did to Sean Fitzpatrick when he ran over him at Athletic Park, gave him the 2 finger salute and said, have a great day. So I was ready for that.
Absolutely loved it. What did you think of the bout, Phil?
Yeah, for a back, he's pretty strong for a back.
He's strong, but he can't tackle. No, he can tackle. No, listen, Phil and I were having a little chat out through dinner, and I asked if it was all right for me to bring it up, and he said yes. And something important. Many of you know that I live with blood cancer, and when you're diagnosed with cancer, your rate of suicide increases by something like 30%. And someone gave you some great advice while you're going through a really serious surgery. Would you mind sharing that with the audience?
So about 2 years ago, I had my aorta and my aortic valve replaced. And so it's a big operation, about 13-hour operation, and had a couple of days in intensive care after that. And then when I got on the ward, this old professor, he was a halfback that played for Ringer actually, so 2 strikes against him. I don't like halfbacks and I don't like Ringer very much. And so he said to me, have you ever looked up heart surgery and mental health? I went, no, why would I look that up? And he said, just have a look. So that night I'm laying in bed in the hospital, the TV's up there, and Australia's Got Talent was on. And I found myself, I had tears streaming down my face watching Australia's Got Talent. I thought, oh shit, actually, maybe I should look this up. So I did. And the very next day, I got a phone call from a mate of mine who'd also had heart surgery. And he was telling me about it. He said, mate, for weeks afterwards, he said, I couldn't have dinner with my kids without crying. Like I'd just sit at the dinner table and start crying. And then another bloke called Justin Harrison, who also had a little bit of heart surgery, he told me a similar thing. He said, if the milk ran out at the fridge, I'd just start crying. Like it just was horrible. And so both of them went and got help. And so that thought, shit, don't be an idiot. And I got hold of the counsellor within the hospital and we had a couple of conversations. And I've been fine. And she just said, the fact that you have come and seen me so early, you know, very quickly after the operation means you're just going to be right. So, you know, acting quickly and just run with your gut and go early.
It's quite commendable. The bravest, the strongest, the most competitive in our country are not scared to ask for help. And that's a fantastic message that I feel is ringing through today. For me, what it is, and we chatted, and if I can take 2 more minutes of your time. See, what happens with mental health particularly, and I know this is Men's Health Week, but mental health particularly, when we don't have a sense of thriving in the future, when we don't have aspiration for the future, and we're thinking short term, and when Phil went through that operation, I can only imagine you had a 13-hour operation, you're thinking, okay, in a couple of days I'm going to get up. In a week I'm going to be walking again. So your world seems to shrink down. And I believe that's what's happening with kids in society today. We're telling them every day that they're not going to own a home, that they're not going to have the same opportunities that other people have got. So what they're doing is managing their life one day at a time. And when you're managing your life one day or 1 week at a time, it's like when you have a serious operation, life shrinks. So in a week, if you have 3 bad days, it feels like half your life is failing. And it's easy to then start having that negative bias conversation in your head, which for me at a point in my life spiraled to a very dark place. But if you're smart enough to get advice from a counsellor, or to go to a friend, or if you're smart enough to realise that your mate, as the halfback, said to you, just be aware of this. What it does, it allows you to realise that you will thrive again. So this isn't bad half your life. This is a couple of weeks of bad in a lifetime of greatness, and that gives you that inspiration to go forward. We're all going down the river of life, and I've had the opportunity to see that waterfall of mortality, and I can imagine, Lane, when you woke up after a 13-hour operation, you said to yourself, what if? What if I don't make it after this? Life shortens up. So rally around people that are going through that sort of thing. Have the foresight that that halfback had to talk to Phil, because it is an emotional time. It is a tough time on what is normally a tough life. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to meet you both, and what a fantastic competitors. Big round of applause, guys. Thank you very much. I've got to get back on schedule. You're going to have to give me a second here to say that this is another feature event is to say the least. It's Steve Kemper and Roy Butler to the stage, please. I hope you men have warmed up. Because you particularly, Steve, have given yourself a bit of a rap. You beat Kearns. We heard you say that. 37 years ago. Seems like yesterday to me. But anyway, and where am I? MC. Speech. Very excited, boys. Arms rolled up. I was with Roy last night in the pub, and I'll tell you, I know this guy knows how to sabotage, because he took care of the menu, and there was the level of chili heat could leave a man suffering. And I know personally, I've been in the bathroom 3 times and trying to keep this schedule. It's definitely sabotaged me. And where am I? Sorry, gentlemen. No, I'm too far forward. Who's my next speaker? 9:45, straight after lunch. Sorry, guys. I've already introduced you, so we know your bio. Why don't you help me, Roy, and tell people what... Is there anything this lot doesn't know about you? You take control.
G'day, folks. Look, thanks very much for the opportunity to be here. Thanks to Phil and Cookie. There's a heap of work that's gone into this, I know that. Really important message. So my electorate, Barwon, if anyone doesn't know, it's 44.5% of the state. It's about the size of Germany. It takes in over 356,000 square kilometres, 13 councils. So that's 13 mayors, 13 GMs, 13 everything. 27 hospitals and NPS, over 100 schools and preschools. It's a huge electorate, and it's the least in the electorate. But in terms of men's health, which is what we're talking about here today, we have some of the worst outcomes in the state. The further west you go, both life expectancy and rates of preventable death both get worse. And that's been a trend that's been happening for a long time. And that is about access to healthcare. That's about also men making a decision to seek help. I was having a joke with someone earlier. I used to call, when people would say to me, what's your doctor's name? I would say, his name is first available. You go to the medical centre and whoever it is you're going to see, you see. But there's no continuity of care. And there's no case history of your health issues. So I now have a doctor, and I actually know him. His name's Michael. He's a real person, and he's put me through just about every test under the sun, which is probably why I didn't go to a doctor for a long time, to be honest. But it's a really good thing that we all should do that. We all should make the decision, go and get ourselves checked out. Yes, it's a bit of cost and it's a bit of annoyance to take the time, but it's so important that we do it. And hopefully, if you do that, you either identify what needs to be done to rectify anything, or you get a clean bill of health. But the most important thing is to make the decision to go and seek that advice and seek that help. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, Roy. As I said, we heard, we had Steve's bio before, and I've made some notes here. It seems to me that Steve is the minister for everything, and with his electorate, Roy is he sort of owns everything. I mean, he controls 44%.
Yeah, we're trying to get to 51% takeover.
What is that? I don't know how much about it. You're changing the boundaries, are you? No, very good. Boys, we can try and avoid this all night, but we're going to have to hit the arm wrestle. Tommy, come on over.
Just remember
No.
stop. Remember that. Make it all stop. We'll be for a good time.
Tommy, I got to say, is there any... I mean, these two are hardened politicians, okay? They've been through question time. They've faced criticism from everywhere. Tommy's just saying, just relax, man, just relax. That's very nurturing. Anything special to say to these two?
Just have fun. Have fun.
Have fun. Dig in. Country boy versus city boy, I'd say as well. I love the music selection. Let's go. Come on. Who you behind? We want to hear it. Luke, come on. Undefeated. I'm going to stay here for a second, Roy. Got to be the fastest bout. Is any Phil? Am I seeing a record? It's the quickest by far. What's the secret, big fella?
Go hard or go home. I mean, at the end of the day, I wasn't going to last too much longer, so I had to get on that shot.
Go hard or go home. There's nothing about politicians. They're empathetic, aren't they? Well, again, thanks for coming today. You spoke so beautifully earlier, and I know what you do for the community. You told me last night. That's great. I really enjoyed our time together last night, and again, thanks so much. Of course you can.
I just want to reinforce what Phil Kearns said before. You know, everything was about conversations. And this is what this is today. It's a really, really big conversation. And I just want to thank everyone again for being here. It's important that we continue to do this and we continue to promote the need for men to talk to each other, because from those conversations, different perspectives evolve, and there's suddenly we're doing something about what we need to be doing, working on. Thank you. And thanks to Roy too, he's a champion too. Just like Phil, fantastic members of the parliament.
A room full of champions as far as I'm concerned. We've got competitors and we've got supporters. There's a real brotherhood here, and it's very important. We're very lucky to have another guest speaker. It's Dr. Ken Hazelton. He's an Orange family GP. Are you around, Ken? Ken is here he is. He's a highly respected GP. I probably don't have to tell people this. They know you too well. Known for his compassionate approach and strong commitment to preventive health care, Dr. Hazelton has built a reputation as a trusted voice in community health, with particular interest in supporting long-term well-being and encouraging people to take a proactive approach to their health. You look $1 million yourself, son. There's no doubt about it. Who wrote that? I figured you wrote this. No, it's all on Wikipedia. That's where I find everything about you. Through his work, the family doctor has made a lasting impact. I think that's important to say. He's made a lasting impact on the lives of countless patients and families. And today he joins us and shares his insight and experience with men's health. Thank you very much, Doctor.
G'day. So, Ken Hazelton, I've been a GP here in Orange for a very long time. There's been a heap of changes in medicine in the time I've been in it. I was asked to speak for 10 minutes to say something useful to you. That was the brief. So I got to make up my own mind about what to talk about. And I'm going to talk about screening, health screening is going to be my pitch. And two of the three things I'm going to talk about, there have been quite big changes in the screening in the last few years. So I want to talk about them. Before we get to that, I want to talk about a hobby horse of mine, screening. So as anyone understands, screening means you're having a test to try and find an unsuspected problem. Right? If you've got a symptom, you go and get it checked out. You think you're healthy, and there are diseases that if you find them early, it makes a big difference to your chance of getting through that illness or not dying of that illness. So screening tests are significant in medicine. This is one that anyone over 50 should recognise the envelope. So the government sends you one of these every 2 years. It's a fecal occult blood test. So it's a test looking for invisible blood in your stool. So I reckon most people have recognised the envelope. What's in the envelope? I imagine 1 in 3 will recognise, because 2/3 of these things get posted to people and they throw them out. They don't do the test. All right? So this is all that's involved in the test. Pull that out. When you go to the toilet, turn around, stick it in your put it back in your tube, do it again the next day, put it in an envelope, put it in a post box, and you get a result the next week about is there any invisible blood in your stool that might be developing a problem and you should be going and getting checked. So blood can be from polyps, it can be from an early cancer, it can be from hemorrhoids, it can be all sorts of things. But if you have a colonoscopy and you find a polyp or you find an early cancer, you're curable, you've sidestepped cancer. If you wait till you've got symptoms that tell you you've got bowel cancer, it's often spread beyond your bowel and it's too late to cure you. So that's one hobby horse. I want to talk about 2 other screening things. So then we're now going to a men's specific screening test. So
I've just tightened my belt.
What did you think, fellas? What am I about to go and do? Possible. Anyone other thoughts?
Crowding the bathroom? No.
Yeah. So what I'm actually going to do is go and clean the barbecue. We don't need a rectal examination for prostate screening anymore. So that went out some years ago. So screening for prostate cancer is now simple. A blood test. It's a test called the PSA test that was controversial even till a few years ago. So different expert groups were saying it's a good idea to do it, and some expert groups were saying you're not very good at working out whose prostate cancer is so slow growing that'd be better not to know about it because it's never going to affect their health. But as soon as you tell them they've got cancer, they're going to feel the pressure to go and have an operation or radiotherapy. And for a lot of them, that's going to make their life worse and it's not going to make their lives longer. The thing that's changed in the last few years, we have got a lot better at sorting out the ones that we should sit on from the ones that ought to be actively treated. And the big things that have come along is a special MRI that gives us a grading of change in your prostate. So if you've got a PSA that's going up, you can go and have this MRI, and a proportion of the men will get a result that says maybe you've got something going on, but it looks so low grade that we shouldn't do anything more except monitor you for keep on with monitoring. So PSA screening isn't compulsory. So one of the things about this, and the next thing we want to talk about, you need to talk over your individual circumstances with your GP, and they'll advise you about whether it makes sense to buy into these things or not. The other thing that's changed in the last 12 months is the guidelines about when and how to screen for prostate cancer. So in general, we say have a conversation at 50 because most prostate cancer starts happening after that. But the new guidelines also say if you're unlucky and you're in a family where prostate cancer happens, maybe you should start looking earlier. So the guidelines say if your dad or one brother has prostate cancer, maybe you should start doing those blood tests when you're 45. If you're unlucky enough to have two male relatives, dad and a brother, or two brothers with prostate cancer, then you should even start at 40, is the recommendation. So PSA screening, a good idea for a few men, might even start at 40. Everybody else should have a conversation with their GP at 50 and say, what's my plan going to be? The other thing that's changed a fair bit in the last few years, and you might have heard about it, I think it gets talked about a lot. People used to compare their cholesterols. I think a lot of older people now compare their calcium scores. So there's new technology in the last few years where a CT scan, just done at your normal X-ray place, not a cardiologist, can make pictures of your coronary arteries. It's clever enough that it takes pictures in between beats of your heart when your heart's not moving, so you get clear pictures of your coronary arteries. And a coronary artery calcium score gives you an indication of how much hardening of your arteries there is, how much calcium there is in all of your arteries. It's very helpful. If you get a score of 0, it's pretty much a free kick. You're not any time in the near future headed for a blocked artery or a heart attack. If you've got a very high score, even if you've got no symptoms, then it's time to pull out all the stops and maybe even go further and have a formal angiogram. The old way with the catheter fed in from your groin or your wrist to your coronary arteries and inject some dye and make some moving pictures as it flows through what narrows you've got. There is another extension of that CT where you can just have an injection in your elbow with the dye, and that's called the CT coronary angiogram. And again, that gives you more information without having to go the invasive sort of cardiologist version. So they're the things that I thought was worth talking about, the changes in prostate cancer recommendations for screening, the improvements we've got in being able to advise men about you've got it but don't do anything about it because that's not sensible, or you've got it and it looks like it's aggressive, so you better jump in and treat it straight away. And a conversation, not everybody should have this CT calcium score or coronary angiogram. So there is a bit of an overreaction for people who hear about it and think, yeah, I better go and have one of those. And again, it doesn't make sense for everybody, but we all know, or probably heard of, people who thought they were perfectly healthy, maybe even fit sportsmen, just drop dead suddenly from a massive heart attack. And sometimes there's a family history of that. With all the screening they've done about their cholesterol, everything else has been reassuring, and it still happens to them. And that's one group of people that I personally think that this is a very useful extra test that we can refer people for. So those are the things I was going to talk about. The only other thing is we're all grown-ups, and it's time men took responsibility for their own health and don't have to be nagged to come and get health checks. So certainly from 50, I think every man should be taking responsibility for themselves, and maybe the month of their birthday, every year, plan to book an appointment to go and see their GP, talk about how they're going, and get the blood pressure check, the cholesterol check, the sugar check, all those things that we ought to be having, and just talk about what is sensible in the way of their screening for health, and as I say, own it themselves. Thanks, guys.
Stay with me for a second. I mean, there's a secret to your fitness, isn't there? And that's cycling. From what I understand.
Bike, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how old are you?
71.
71. Another go at him, will you? There's a round of applause. Surviving. And if you're not surviving, you're thriving, and that's really important to know. While you're here, the more I hear this, the more I like to echo it. Early detection makes us all a doctor in a sense. I live with multiple myeloma, an incurable blood cancer. Now, the symptoms for what I've got, which is an incurable blood cancer, are sore joints, a headache, tiredness. Anybody in the room feel like that? Everybody in the room. We all go through that. But we couldn't think. No one says, I'll tell you, I might touch on it later, but I was told I had 3 months to live in 2011. You hear those words, it changes your life. You realise what's important. And what our doctor has just said is one of the most important things you can do is take care of yourself. It's a beautiful life that we're living, and you don't recognise how perfect it is until you see, and not many in the room have got to see that waterfall of mortality, but I have. I was told I had 3 months to live. Now, I wish I had taken more of the advice that you've given today, but early detection is the quickest way and the safest way to know you're going to live the longest, best, most thriving life you can have. Again, thank you very much for today. I've been trying to think of ways to make these bouts sound more exciting than the bout before, but I'm going to say Phil and Big Dan is one of the best. In the top bouts of today is the next bout, there's no doubt about it. It's between Andrew Holland, he's the Assistant Commissioner of the Western Region Commander of the Police. This guy is the boss of everything law in just about the whole. I was talking to him earlier, he controls everything. And he's so powerful, he's a big man, he's strong, he's handsome. His competitor has dropped out. Okay, his competitor was going to be Steve Haynes, he's done. Simple as that, okay? Phil and Cookie said, Baz, you're going to have to take the big fella. And I said, not a chance. It just can't happen. But who stepped up is Mitch Crossman. He's a retained fighter and rescue for New South Wales. He's been working for 20 years. He's not a firefighter at all. This guy's come from nowhere, hasn't he, Mitch? He's a council worker here at Orange who completing his sports turf management apprenticeship. He also works at the fire and rescue, thank God I got something right. He's on call firefighter for the last 18 months. He plays first grade footy, so he's first grade cricket, and has played state level sport in his teenage years. He stepped up to the plate today, and I'm going to ask them both to come up. Now, this is where the magic happens in events like this. This is where, have I got that right? Is that true? Everything I've said true, Mitch? He's just stepped up. Now, could this bout get closer to Rocky? I mean, the all-time champion, look at him. Against the unknown. Okay, he's a newcomer, but he's wearing his heart on his sleeve. He's as brave as the day is long, there's no doubt about it. Is there anything you want to add to this? I can see the nerves and I want to help you out. What do you think of that? It's the old dog against the young bull, I'm going to say. How are you feeling?
A little bit nervous. I know if I win, I might get put in handcuffs.
One of the reasons I stepped away, that's for sure. I just didn't want to get that arm in arm, the handcuffs that go straight on. Are you feeling, I mean, have a go, and he's in great condition, there's no doubt about it. Yes, you can't trust him. But he's in great condition. Have you been training, or have you just stepped straight into the room and taken him on?
Pretty much just got the call up last night to say you're doing this, so I was like, I'll give it a go.
You're doing this, I'll give it a go. I mean, here it is, experience, a wealth of knowledge, a competitor for many, many years. The young bull, what do you think?
Consider I'm 3 times his age, I'm doing well.
Well, see, that's the thing already. He's trying to show off. He only looks twice his age, but he's saying he's 3 times, so that's something. Well, I'm clearly trying to make more of this than it is, so I reckon we get to the table. And where's my referee? There he is. Jump over. Oh, look out. Hang on, can you do that in slow motion? The fighter taking his clothes off, that's got to happen in slow motion, hasn't it? Get some Barry White playing. Or something else. Come in, Tommy. Just recap what's going to keep these men safe.
Not to look away from your hands. Keep looking at your elbows down, hand on the pin. and keep it safe.
Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the jungle. What a choice. Mitch Crossman up against Assistant Commissioner Andy Holland and the Australian. No. Andy can't even feel his weight. He's literally just holding the young fella up at the moment. Come on. If you lose this, Mitch, you're gonna. Come on, Andy. It's all for the modern day. Oh, there it is. Well, I'm just going to give you a tip, son. Do not go over the speed limit on the way home. Every car in the state's after you. How do you feel about the victory?
Yeah, I think it was a bit rude, but I'll take it.
I just want to say again, I know you've travelled to come here, and I know you're continuing. I think you said to me in the last 2 months you put 35,000 Ks on the car. You've got a big district to keep an eye on. Is there a more special district than Orange?
No, Orange is sort of home to me. I was sort of a Blaney boy, started school at Trunky Creek, and I've spent a lot of time in this area, so this brings a place I lot to.
The place does. I mean, this is my first visit to Orange, and it's had an effect on me. The great conversations I've had already. Why is it? What gives a community? Is it the governance? Is it the people? What makes a community as strong as this one?
Probably just involved in the community, probably from the emergency services to help support. We get support from the community. I know the fire agent and the police do the same thing. We are part of the community, which is even better. And probably when you look after them, you got to remember as a cop, you are part of the community. So what you do reflects on the community.
And you're doing an amazing job. You did an amazing job there. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Big round of applause. Brayden is an Australian treasurer. Can you just say that for me? I'm hopeless with these words. Urologist. Sounds simple when you are one. There you go. He's a surgeon. And you have a real strong interest in robotic surgery. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, robotic surgery is just a new type of minimally invasive surgery where we sit at the console and operate a robot, and using really small instruments, we're able to get to places that are pretty hard to reach, meaning that patients have better outcomes, they go home quicker. It's just the future of surgery.
I don't know if I'm going to push too far here, but I'm thinking that would have been really handy for my circumcision. Have I gone too far, Phil? Let's. I don't know. Dr. March completed his medical degree at the University of Newcastle. Not many blokes can get away with that, can they? I mean the circumcision joke. I need 4 of you in the front row. You've laughed at everything I've said. I love it. Dr. March completed his medical degree at the University of Newcastle and undertook a specialist urology training across leading New South Wales hospitals, including Royal Prince Alfred. I've been there plenty of times. John Hunter in the Nepean Hospital. He gained extensive experience in advanced robotic surgery for prostate, kidney and bladder cancer treatment. He also completed an international fellowship training in the United Kingdom, focusing on cutting-edge robotic cancer surgery. There's a play on words, isn't it? Anyway, and has contributed to publishing research, prostate cancer urology innovation. Coincidentally, I think this is very important to know, probably you guys know this, coincidentally, Phil Donato is presently advocating for a surgical robot to be installed at the Orange Health Service, which will be the first of its technology kind anywhere in regional Australia. Again, a big hand for both these gentlemen.
Thank you. Yeah, good day everyone. I'm Brayden. So, a urologist, I treat diseases of the urinary tract and the male reproductive tract, so day in and day out I'm seeing men, and my special interest is cancer. And so I was thinking about what to say today. There's really 3 messages that I want to get across that may save your life. With cancer, it's important that we get it as early as possible because the outcomes are better and the cancer is more treatable and more curable. So the first message is with regards to testicular cancer. So testicular cancer is the most common cancer that affects men in their 20s to 30s, besides skin cancer. And it's largely very asymptomatic, you don't really have any symptoms. Most men who are diagnosed with it will notice a new hard, painful, and not painful, but just a new hard lump in their testis. So it's really important for men to kind of check your balls, basically. If you want to be posh, that's called testicular self-examination. And we would recommend doing that, once every month in the shower or after the shower when things are nice and warm, things are relaxed, and have a feel of your balls between your fingers and your thumb. They should feel kind of a bit soft and a bit squidgy. If you feel anything that's hard, that really needs to get checked out by a GP with an ultrasound, and then you're going to need to come and see me or one of my colleagues. Now, testicular cancer is extremely, extremely curable. About 98% of men who are diagnosed with testicular cancer are still alive 5-10 years down the track. So really important that we get it early, and the way we do that is to do regular testicular self-examination or just check your balls. The second one is never ignore blood in the urine. Blood in the urine is a very common symptom of a urological cancer. So that could be kidney cancer, it could be bladder cancer, it could be an upper tract cancer, or even prostate cancer. About 1 in 4 people who have blood in the urine will have a cancer as the cause. So even if it's happened once or if it's gone away, even if it's painless, and even if it's just intermittent and not bothering you, in all of those situations, it really pays to see a urologist about it, because we're the ones that will investigate it. So 1 in 4 men, or 1 in 4 people with blood in the urine will have a urological malignancy. So they're not great odds when you're kind of getting with your life. So urological cancers as well, particularly bladder cancer, really affects men more than women. So I would encourage you, blood in the urine, never ignore. Go and see your GP and then come and see one of the urologists about it. And then the third thing, as Ken has kind of alluded to and spoke so well about, is just get your PSA checked. So PSA, it's a blood test, prostate-specific antigen. It can't tell you whether you've got prostate cancer, but it gives you a measure of your risk of prostate cancer. So the guidelines have changed recently. We recommend everyone at age 40 get a baseline PSA, and that's very helpful in determining your lifetime risk. And then the different screening regimes will depend on if you have a family history. So for anyone who's had a brother or brothers, father, grandfather, uncles, anyone in the family who has had prostate cancer, even mothers or sisters who've had breast cancer, that's important as well. So if you have a family history of one of those cancers, it's especially important for you to get your PSA checked. As Ken said, it's just a blood test, and the workup after that, it first goes to an MRI. So the glove is no longer necessary, and please, just so important, we've got really good evidence now that if we catch prostate cancer when it's localized, we're curing men of this disease. It's very treatable, and we're saving lives by catching it early. So the 3 messages again that could save your life in future by catching cancer early is: number 1, check your balls; number 2, never ignore blood in the urine; and number 3, just get your PSA checked. Thanks everyone.
Thank you very much, Dr. Brayden. Now, extremely interesting. Is there any questions from the audience about this? Dan Repacholi, you don't want to talk about your balls?
What's the best way to check your nuts? In the shower?
Come up, we'll do a demonstration. And you put your foot in that big fella, I tell you.
Yeah, just in the shower when things are nice and warm.
In the shower afterwards, and just kind of roll your testis between your fingers and your thumb. And as I said, they should just be kind of soft and squidgy and hard. Hard and growing, that's really important. That needs to get checked out.
Anyone else in the audience just imagining that? I mean, I'm listening to the words. Yeah. Sorry, I went off track there for a second. Geez, I've learned some stuff about the balls today. There's no doubt about it. Is there any other questions? Yes, thank you, Doctor.
Comment. It's not infrequently the girlfriend who identifies it.
Good point. If you don't like fondling yourself, you got someone else who does.
You know, you've got to be careful of your audience, dude, because I reckon I've got a quarter of an hour of jokes in this. From microsurgery to... Anyway, let's move on. Any other questions to March? Thank you very much. A round of applause. Thank you. I'm going to go for the segue of the century here, because we're talking about grip strength. Now, Phil Rasmussen come up. He's the president of the Arm Wrestling Association of Australia. Bring your little tool, Phil. Yes. Grip strength, very important when it comes to checking balls. It's important when it comes to arm wrestling. It's important right across the board. Now, all the doctors have spoken about early detection, how important it is. Phil told me something that I didn't know, and so that it's not butchered, I'm going to let Phil tell you. Take over.
Easy, Baz. So the grip strength indicator, and the doctors in the room will know what this means. There is very good evidence now. They've done lots of studies on the correlation between grip strength and cognitive decline and vitality. So your general vitality and your chance of living later in life is directly correlated to your grip strength. And we've got this little tool here. It's a dynamometer. All you do is you squeeze it. It's very, very simple. You squeeze it, you get a rating of how many pounds or kilograms per square inch, and that gives you a band of where you sit in your age and your gender. So based on that, we can tell, right, is there any sort of big drop in your grip strength that might lead to later problems in life? So very simple tool. I often wondered, why grip strength? And it's because there is so many muscles and tendons moving when you grip your hand. The articulation of your fingers, the wrist flexion, the forearm, lots of muscles are involved in that one rather simple movement. So grip strength is a great indicator.
So you don't have to have a professional one like this, but what we're saying is it's just a layman's way to look at early detection. If you're noticing that your grip strength isn't as good, it's time to get to the doctor. As well as we're checking our VCs there, we're holding our balls, we're checking our grip strength. It all, did I just say that out loud? It all goes to early detection, and early detection makes it easier for the people that are going to take care of us once we understand we've got that disease. Now, I clocked up about a 97 before, and I didn't know this, I'm going to show you. You pull on the power there, and as you go down, you get stronger. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, I've declined 2 kilograms since this morning. Does that mean I'm on the way out?
Let's reset it. We do that. Right, that's the mouse, right? So now
So well, I clocked it in at 67 kilos. For an old bloke, they reckon that's okay. But we'll give it another go now. I'm trying to flex my biceps like Phil did earlier. Down. Back up to 67. So I'm no less cognitive than I was earlier today. I think we're all going to be happy about that, and I'm going to move on. Thanks very much, Phil. And personally, I wasn't that impressed with the last State of Origin. I don't want to get into it too much, but I'm excited about the State of Origin coming up. And I think the next bout that we're having is as closest to a state of region that we're going to get, or close to the State of Origin as we can get. We've got Councillor Tony Mileto, the Mayor of Orange, up against Councillor Andy McKibbin, the Mayor of Oberon. This is mate against mate, council against council. It doesn't get any more intense. Come to the stage, gentlemen. A lifelong resident of Orange, Councillor Mileto has been a passionate leader in local sport, serving many years with the Orange District Football Team, the Football Association, Orange Ex-Services Club, we're here today. Since joining council in 2017, he has chaired a number of key community economic development committees, always focusing on making Orange a strong, inclusive and thriving regional city. Not to be outdone, Councillor say it for me.
McKibbin.
McKibbin. Now I've worked out who's who as well. God, there's always a way to disguise your stupidity, isn't there? I can cover them all. As a long-serving councillor and dedicated community representative, Councillor McKibbin, correct? Councillor McKibbin was elected Mayor of Oberon in 2024 after several years of serving both the council and previously as the Deputy Mayor. Throughout his time in local government, he has a strong advocate for regional communities, infrastructure, improved tourism and sustainable growth across the Oberon region. I love going fishing in Oberon. I used to go there all the time. I love it. So this is state against state as far as I'm concerned. This is as big as it gets. Who would be blue? Who would be maroon? Or is it two blues here today, I guess?
I'm blue, definitely.
Definitely blue?
I'll get to say it first.
Oh, I've got a blue background, police officer, so I used to work with Brett Cook and Andrew Holland years ago, and Phil came after me, so I think there's probably more blue in me than what there is.
Yes. So it's council against council. Any nerves?
Buzz, there are no nerves. All I can say is it's the two O's. Oberon, smaller population, but we're tougher. Yeah. We're in the highlands, we produce the good beef, the good lamb and the good forestry products. So, we think we're a tougher breed. And if I could say something, if I could, just about something Ken said before. I went to my GP for a health checkup, and my GP said to me, "So Andrew, what are you really worried about?" I said, "I've had 5 people who I know, and one of them Phil Donato knows as well, who have all had heart issues, including had to have open heart surgery. I'm scared about having a heart attack." And he said, "What's the biggest risk to you?" And I said, "The biggest risk to me, as with all of us, is the risk our health, whether it's sickness, whether it's going to hospital, or whether it's death, is to our family and kids. So we have to consider not only ourselves as men, but those who we are with, who depend on us, and that's really important." So I went and had a heart scan, as you talked about, and I was fine. But I think it's very important, I reiterate, it's not only us that have to worry about our health and be concerned, it's also our families and those dependent on us. It's so crucial. And the other thing I'd like to say, and I don't want to take the microphone completely, is Tony's putting in a new sports complex. Oberon's just put one in. It's not only the physical health of our community, but it's the mental health that helps in our young people and helps them to become, as Phil Kearns said, more resilient. So sporting complexes are really crucial for getting young people involved in things and getting them both physically and mentally resilient.
And that resilience comes, as I've said, and I've said it a couple of times, but I'm going to keep reiterating it. Leaders are telling us what they're scared of and how they're approaching it. It just makes it easier for the rest of the community to come to that. Because I know personally that I didn't want to find out if there was anything wrong, and then it was too late. And as you say, when you do find out something's wrong, the first thing you think about is your family and how important they are and what would they do without you. So do it for yourself, do it for your family, and of course do it for your community. And with this, I'm going to put something up for grabs. I see that the winner of this bout can change the number plates of their area to say the Arm Wrestling Shire. So, no pressure, but whoever wins, I think that's a great number plate logo. Do you have a number plate logo currently?
Yeah, it actually says orange, which can be quite embarrassing because people notice the vehicle all the time and you've got to make sure you're doing the right thing, which we do. But can I just add to, if I can quickly, to Andrew's point, and people, the reason we're here is for his mental health and create awareness of that. And I can say that in my police career, I probably went to 18 to 20 suicides. And there's always the same question when I went there, and they're very challenging situations, and it was always, if we had have known, we could have done something about it, and people will beat themselves up about that. And they're very challenging conversations to have. But sometimes you can do things when you don't notice. And I just want to tell a story quickly because I think it's important. And I see a friend of mine here from Forbes, and I'm not going to mention any names, but we got a phone call one night from a concerned welfare from this gentleman's daughter. And she said, look, it's Dad's birthday, you haven't been able to get onto him, can you go over to the house? So we've gone around and met another gentleman, knocked on the door, no one's around, so we've gone to the back shed and the light was on. So it was locked, and looked through a window and something was going to happen. And so we broke in there and got this gentleman, took him to the hospital. And sometimes you think you're doing the right thing. And I sat with him, and I was only about 27 at the time, and this gentleman was in his 50s. And I said to him, it doesn't matter how bad things appear sometimes, the sun will always shine tomorrow. And he looked at me, and he said, you brought me back to the place where my wife died 10 years ago. And then I realised that sometimes, whilst you think you're doing the right thing, you can't anticipate what's going to come at you. Anyway, so I didn't think much more about it, and I said, look, we want to get you some help. So this gentleman was scheduled to a facility here in Orange at Bloomfield at the time. And I didn't think much more about it, I always wondered how he was going. And it was probably 2 to 3 months later, I was walking down Main Street of Forbes, and I heard somebody yell out, Tony, and I looked around and there's a woman. And she comes running across the road, and she said to me, Dad, excuse me, she said, Dad just wants to let you know that he's going okay. And I looked across the road, and I realised it was that same gentleman. And all he done was nodded. And I knew, excuse me, at that point, that you were able to make a difference in somebody's life, even though you don't realise you're doing it. So sometimes, you see people and you think they're going okay. That gentleman wasn't going okay. But hopefully he was able to get on with his life. And whilst police have a tough job, and people involved in mental health have a really tough job, sometimes you can make a difference in people's life without even knowing it. And you can start by doing that, but just by treating people with respect and just being kind to them, and because you don't know what's going on in their life. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Over to the table, guys, and get ready. I will say this, and I'll just carry on from what was said then so eloquently, is this. I was at a place of depression once, and I can promise you that I was never going to ask for help. We need to understand to look for the signs in people that may be struggling, not leave it up to them to ask for help. Make it your job. If you see someone's out of sorts, to lean up to them. There's a lot on the line here. This is a number plate of the century, Tommy. Let's go Oberon. Let's go Oberon. Let's go Orange. Let's go Orange. Who's from Oberon? Who's from Orange? Let's hear him. Let's hear him. He reckons there's a better gene pool. Oh, there's no competition here. Whoa. Well, guys, come back. You're not going to get that serious, and I'm going to let you go. Now, clearly, this was just a friendly bout. And the life didn't depend on this match, did it? Absolutely. Absolutely it did.
I told you we're small and
the longer we go, the more competitive it's getting. I'm thinking to myself, when I'm listening to these two gentlemen speak so eloquently about compassion and kindness and reaching out and loving one another, they just want to rip each other's head off there. That was incredible.
I knew I was in trouble yesterday actually, because I ran into Andrew, and he shook my hand, and he's got these calluses on his hand, and I thought, look at these hands. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about these ones, and then your fingers, and your farmer's hand. So I knew that this man had worked hard and in a different way to what I do. So congratulations. I'd like to think about good sports and for a good. Good organisation and create awareness. So thank you very much.
Great gentlemen. Well, that was fun. Thanks for what you had to say, and also thank you for your competitive nature. It's somewhat scary. We're up for another guest speaker. It's Fiona Marwick, councillor. From Cancer Council in New South Wales. Fiona, come up to the stage. There she is. Fiona is an experienced health promotion and community engagement professional with over 25 years of health and fitness industry experience. Fiona currently works at the Cancer Council. You're not going to arm wrestle. Actually, this is my opportunity, isn't it? We might have another bout on here. No, having spent most of her life in regional New South Wales, Fiona, come over here, Fiona. Come over here, you. Fiona is deeply passionate about reducing the impact of cancer in rural and remote communities. She understands the unique challenges these communities face and her commitment to improving access to information services and support. Outside her work, Fiona enjoys the outdoors, gardening, running, and an Airbnb on her goat farm. That's exciting. My claim to fame. Oh no, it's not. Believe it or not, your claim to fame is winning the giant pumpkin competition.
Beating all the men, may I say.
I love that. Cancer Council is something very close to my heart. I was an ambassador for Cancer Council many years ago. And believe it or not, my mum started one of the first cancer support communities in Sussex Inlet when she was going through cancer. She had great support, my mum had great support, but she realised, like you clearly realise, there are many people, particularly in regional Australia, don't have the same support that others do. So we're going to listen to Fiona talk about what she does, and thank you very much. Big round of applause. I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for having me here today. Can everyone hear that okay? Yeah? Does anyone need a stretch? I've just been looking at everyone sitting down. You've been sitting down for a while. I've got my health promotion hat on. Does anyone need a stretch, or are you all good? No? You're all good. Okay. So thank you for having me here today, and congratulations on bringing this event to life, Phil and Brett and whoever else has been involved with this. So as mentioned, my name's Fiona Markwick. I work for Cancer Council in a health promotion role, and I cover Lithgow through to Broken Hill. So I've got quite a big patch of regional Australia. So today we're here for strength competition and a bit of fun, but also something bigger, and that's getting a grip on our health. So today I'm speaking about Cancer Council New South Wales and how to reduce your cancer risk and common cancers. And Dr. Hazelton may even jump up here at any time with me and join me. So Cancer Council New South Wales is 96% community funded. We work across all cancers and all aspects of cancer. We fund and conduct world-class research. We support people through their cancer journeys. We work to prevent cancer, and we advocate for cancer smart communities in our regions. And I'm fortunate enough here to have Phil with us here today. Phil's very passionate and has supported me and Cancer Council more broadly in some of the advocacy work that we do. We were just talking earlier about the disadvantages that regional people have out in our communities out here, and Phil has been on board and helped us spread the word and do some advocating for us in Parliament there. So I just wanted to touch on cancer. The top 5 cancers that were diagnosed in men in 2025 were prostate, melanoma, bowel cancer, lung cancer, and non-Hodgkin lymphoma. We were talking about early detection earlier, and the better outcomes we can get are through early detection. So I just wanted to talk about some of the risk factors and how you can prevent cancer. Dr. Hazelton, you can probably come into more depth. I've got my health promotion hat on, I'm not the clinician at all. So some of the things that you can do to reduce your cancer risk are to quit smoking or not to quit at all. If you do need assistance in quitting smoking, you can call the Quit line on 13 78 48, or you can download the I Can Quit app, or you can speak to your doctor. You can limit alcohol consumption. You can have a healthy, balanced diet, eating more fruit, vegetables, and whole grains, and eating less red meat and processed meat. Move more, sit less, and get physical. Be sun smart. I'm going to put someone on the spot here. Who knows the 5 S's of sun protection? You can, yeah, go for it, yeah. Yes, wonderful, well done. So yes, and also you can download our Sun Smart app and you can look at the UV index each day. So it's actually the ultraviolet light that causes skin damage. It's not related to temperature, which a lot of people do think. So you can still get burnt on cloudy, overcast days. Dr. Hazelton touched on the national bowel screening programs. We're fortunate in Australia to have 4 national screening programs. We have breast, bowel, cervical and lung. Just to, I guess, recap on a few things that Dr. Hazelton has said about bowel screening. We know that if detected early enough, that 90% of bowel cancers can be successfully treated. To be eligible to participate in the bowel screening program, you need to be between the ages of 45 and 74. In the 45 to 49 age group, you actually have to order the bowel screening kit yourself. And I've got some information on that I can leave out. And if you're 50 to 74, you'll be sent the kit every 2 years. Just making sure you keep your postal address up to date with Medicare, because it will be sent to the wrong address. So currently we know that around 42% of people, eligible people, in New South Wales are returning the screening kit, which is quite low. Surprisingly, I don't know if that surprises anyone. Does that surprise anyone that the test results and returning kits is low? No, not at all. Okay, so if we can get this up to 60% by 2040, research has shown that we can save an extra 86,000 lives, so that's phenomenal. So I encourage everyone to get to it, speak to your doctor, order your bowel screening kit, and participate in this screening. So I was going to show a demonstration on how to use the bowel screening kit, but I need to do that now. Does anyone else have any questions? I just guessed in summary that, remember, looking after your health isn't weak, that it's smart, and remembering our Cancer Council information and support number on 13 11 20. That's it for me today, short and sweet. If anyone would like any more information, you can jump onto our Cancer Council website at cancercouncil.com.au or ring our 13 11 20 information support line.
It's Brayden, I'm living with cancer, and as I say, I'm very lucky. I have great support all around me, and I live 4 or 5 kilometres from one of the best hospitals in the city. There's never a shortage of people getting me back and forth. But the Cancer Council is such an important mechanism for so many people that don't have those resources around them. And it can be a very lonely journey when you're diagnosed with cancer. And what the Cancer Council does, and other people like Cancer Council, is gives you a sense of inclusion, a sense of security, and a sense of support. And that's what gives us the strength to believe that we can thrive after cancer, after treatment. So personally, I want to say thank you very much for the work you do. And I'll ask you all again to put your hands up. Straight back into arm wrestling. And arm wrestling today's the winner, really, isn't it? I mean, there's no doubt about it. And the next 2 competitors are, to say the least, competitors. It's Michael Andrews, a veteran South Sydney Rabbitohs player and team captain, up against Brad Waugh, veteran Penrith player. I'm going to start with Michael. If these boys can come out of the warm-up room, please, and start heading up towards us. We've got Michael Andrews, a former rugby league lock forward, one of the toughest in the game, who played for South Sydney Rabbitohs for 10 seasons. Very as hard as nails. And captain the Rabbitohs in the New South Wales, there we are, New South Wales Rugby League competition. Michael currently sits on the board of directors of South Sydney members, a rugby league club. I got to tell you, my wife is one of the maddest South Sydney supporters on earth. You've got no idea. And she's indoctrinated my 2 kids, and I'm a Parramatta supporter. It's like hell in my house. I mean, we've had the worst decade of our life, and you guys are just going from strength to strength. Michael's efforts have been recognised and appreciated by the community, and he continues to promote the club and the activities and innovations. It's great to have you here. Thank you. Brad, we met again last night, and it was a great pleasure. As a veteran Panthers player, Brad Waugh, he's a professional rugby league player who played in the 1970s and the 1980s, spending most of his career at the Penrith Panthers. Post-retirement, Brad has retained his ties with the Penrith Panther Club, being the head of the Panthers community program, Panthers on the Prowl. Brad joined the Prowl in 2012. Only seems like yesterday, 2012, doesn't it? That's a long time ago already. Which he has allowed him to follow his passion and personal development, particularly with young people. Being able to make a positive, lasting difference to well-being of young people and local communities is an invaluable contribution. We all thank you for that. The Panthers on the Prowl Community Development Foundation continues to gather momentum in its aim to give something vitally important back to the families of young people within the Panthers, Penrith and surrounding areas. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm going to say this. Arm wrestling, I haven't had a lot to do with it before today, and whilst we've got a great community here, it's an individual sport. But I'd just like to talk to you two, because you two would understand better than most the value of getting involved in sports. Can you talk to that just for a second?
I think for any kids growing up, and that is a great thing to be involved in sport. And as has been said here today, it teaches you a lot about winning, losing, all through life. You know, there's winners and losers, whatever you go through life. And that's a big part of it, is playing sport, learning to be with your mates, and having a great time while you're doing it.
You know, my son plays Aussie rules. He's never played it before. He's playing his first year this year, and he was playing in this team, and they're all loving running around. And I found something really interesting. They were getting beat 100-0, okay? And apparently the rule is that they turn the scoreboard off when it gets to 100-0. And I said to a couple of the other parents, when I played footy, I boxed a big part of my life. Some of the biggest lessons I ever learned were from some of my biggest beatings. I mean, I think it's important to realise that your losses often are some of your best wins. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would, wholeheartedly. And look, I'll probably get off the subject a little bit if that's okay, but it's probably more apropos to our meeting here today, and that is I also, as well as Mick, I head up the Panthers Ex-Players Association, and we have over 200 members of the ex-players, and the thing I've noticed is, and it lines up with a lot of things we've heard this morning, is for a lot of those men, playing at that NRL level, as high as you can get, that was the zenith of their life. And everything since has just been greyness. And we find ourselves visiting a lot of guys and, you know, just trying to make them still feel a part of the organisation and make them a valued member of the organisation. And, you know, the jury's still out about concussive injuries and dementia, etc. But myself and our small committee, we've visited so many guys that are suffering from dementia at the moment. It's not funny. And, but they always feel as if they're still part of the crew whenever we visit them. So we just think it's quite important for them to be part of the big picture still.
Thank you for that. And before you go over to the table and lock hands, I just want to say that you were both amazing on the field, but like so many great athletes, much of your best work has been done since with your communities, and the legacy you leave with your communities is to be commended. With that, boys, no pressure, but you're on the big table. Great, Tommy. I'm gonna recognise it straight up. Slow it down, Tommy. Weight-wise, we're a little bit. We're pushing the barriers here. Is there much of an advantage in having the extra weight?
Not always. It's not always about the biggest competitor. So arm wrestling is the great equaliser. Smaller, it's about hand and wrist strength more than body weight.
Hand and wrist strength. There's so many jokes I could come up with, but anyway. Tommy, what are you saying to the men?
Just letting them know not to look away from their hand, keep their elbows down. And on that note, while these men are holding on, I just want to say that to whoever's out there that's thinking bad thoughts in life, hold on, it will pass.
Very good, thank you, Tommy. Couple of veterans of the rugby league world up against it. There's still a lot of power left in these biceps, isn't there? And we're away, it's slow, but it's steady. Keep an eye on him. Oh, very good. Champions, I think Get a Grip is the winner here today, and arm wrestling generally. This is what Phil Donato has done with his team is fantastic. I mean, everybody that's come here today is still here. Everybody's still enjoying every match. How important are events like this?
I think it's fantastic, because I said, I don't think there's anybody here that hasn't been touched by some sort of depression, cancer, whatever. Myself, I had testicular cancer in 2006, and I was lucky enough, I was one of the got early detections at RPA through a pilot system where I didn't have to have any chemo or radiation, just blood tests and that. And so, yeah, it's fantastic. If you get out there, and that's everyone else said it today, early detection means prevention, and most of the time it's cures.
Yeah. And the thing is, what you just said, talking about it, and we've talked about everything from depression to bodily parts here today, and the more we talk about it, the easier it is to talk about it, and therefore people are going to be more encouraged to do it. Is there anything you wanted to add?
Just to be topical, I've recently been diagnosed with BPH, so I might have a chat to you both a bit later on.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Big round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you, legend. Thank you. There it is. We're very lucky to have another very good guest speaker today. It's Andrew Greig. Andrew is the Rapid and Community Development Manager for Lifeline Central West, where he works across suicide prevention, crisis response, disaster recovery and community resilience in rural and regional New South Wales. As a veteran, Andrew brings practical understanding of leadership, pressure, service, and the quiet struggles many men carry behind the scenes. Very important. His work focuses on trust building, strengthening local support systems, and helping communities have a more honest conversation about mental health, distress, and help seeking. Andrew speaks from both a professional experience and deep commitment to making mental health support feel real, accessible, and human, particularly for men in regional communities. Let's put our hands together as he comes to the stage. Andrew Greig. Thank you very much. Thank you, Andrew.
G'day everyone, and thank you very much for having me here today. Phil and Brett asked for the very best that Lifeline Central West could offer. Unfortunately, he's in Tamworth, but I'm here. So yeah, as was said, look, I work for Lifeline Central West across suicide prevention, crisis response, disaster recovery, and community resilience. And today I want to talk, quite fittingly I think, and unsurprisingly, I'd like to talk about men's mental health. More specifically, one precise moment. So it's the moment after blokes say to each other, how you going, how are you? Essentially after we say, are you okay? Now the most common response we expect from this is, yeah, good, can't complain, living the dream. That's the normal script, but there's a harder moment when someone breaks that script on us. And that's when someone says to us, Actually, no, I'm not doing well and I'm struggling. And we all go, shit. And that's the moment I want to sit in today briefly, if that's all right. So, men understand that being vulnerable comes at a cost. Now, we don't necessarily use the word vulnerability very often. We definitely don't sit around and talk about emotional risk, but we understand that there is a cost. And society often looks at men as the ones who can handle things, the ones that can fix things and stay calm decision makers. And when I say society, I'm not talking about a big academic idea. I'm talking about something that's much closer to home. Our society is our wife, our partners, kids, parents, neighbours, boss, staff, our mates. For a father, society could be the kid sitting across the kitchen table from you. For a husband, it could be the lady lying next to you in bed at night. So when a man says, I'm not okay, we understand that they know that there's a risk involved in that. He may be wondering, will this change how you see me? Will you think less about me? Will this become awkward? Will you try to fix me, or will I regret saying something today? That is why our response here is really important. The first thing is simple. You need to take it seriously. You might be surprised, you will feel awkward, you won't know the perfect thing to say, and that's okay. You don't need to perform some perfect version of care or become his counsellor in that situation. You do not need to fix his whole life in that moment. In fact, you probably don't need to fix anything right now. What matters is that you do not dismiss it. You don't laugh it off, and you don't brush past it. You don't change the subject because you feel uncomfortable, because we have all done other things in this conversation. If he has had the courage to be honest with you, you must treat it with respect. A good response might be, mate, I'm really glad you told me. That sounds really shit. I'm sorry you're carrying that. I'm here with you. Tell me what's been going on. That tells him he has not made a mistake by speaking. There is a line, something along the lines of what is normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. Now, what that means is that what feels manageable to one person might be crushing to the next. Or something you have survived could be breaking him. Or something small to the outside world can be enormous inside. So the bloke that's telling you he's struggling requires empathy far more than comparison. So an empathetic statement rarely starts with I. So it's not that your experience doesn't matter, because it's more that at that moment, this is about him and not your experience. So try not to lead with, I know how you feel, I went through that too, I had it worse when, or I reckon what you should do is. Those responses can come from a really good place, but they pull the conversation away from him. His pain does not have to make sense to you for you to take it seriously. If it's serious enough to him, with him knowing the risks of being vulnerable, then it's serious enough to listen to. Keep your own stories in your pocket for the short term. And look, if it feels like you're sitting in the mud with him, then you're probably doing it right. Your role is to hear him, to listen properly, to help him feel heard, to take what he says seriously. Your role is not to diagnose him. It is not to solve his problem. It's probably not to give any advice at all. Advice can make it feel like being managed. A man can feel managed and not heard. What you can do is stay in the conversation with him. Let him talk through it. Let him slow it down. Help him to name what's actually going on and help him think about what the next steps might be. Not your next steps, but his next steps. You are there to be a safe person in a hard moment. But how do we help find some of these answers? Here's some practical tools. Now, the first thing to do is to remember that he is the expert in his situation. He's just currently overwhelmed. The following questions should help him navigate his situation. So these are some hard tools you can use. How long have you been feeling like this? What has been the hardest part? Who else knows that you're feeling this way? What helps even a little? What makes it worse? What do you need tonight? Do you feel safe? You don't need to ask them all, it's not a job interview. You need to pick one, ask it properly, and give him room to answer. Okay, that's important. Silence is okay. Silence is often man moving through the overwhelm and finding the right words for his situation. Sometimes a man might say something that really worries you, and this is the bit that terrifies us all, and this is the bit that pushes a lot of us away from engaging in conversations like that. He might say something like, I can't keep doing this, everyone will be better off without me, or I don't want to be here, or I've thought about ending it. If you hear that, do not ignore it. Ask clearly, are you thinking about suicide? That question does not put the idea in his head. It gives him permission to tell the truth. If he says yes, you can say, thank you for telling me. I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you said that out loud. We need to bring somebody else into this. Okay, so that might be Lifeline, 13, 11, 14, 24/7. It might be someone else he trusts. It might be 000 if the emergency is immediate danger. And you can sit with him through the next steps. You can also call Lifeline yourself and say something along the lines of, I'm with someone I'm worried about and I need help knowing what the next step should be. But you shouldn't carry this alone. The goal is not to become a mental health expert. It is to become a safer person, to be honest with. No one needs a polished speech from you. They need to know that they will not be laughed at or judged or pushed aside or treated like a problem to solve. If a man tells you he is not okay, take it seriously. Listen, don't compare, don't make it about yourself. Help him slow it down, help him find the next step. You are not responsible for having all the answers. You're not responsible for fixing his life. You are responsible for how you meet that moment. You won't be the whole answer. You might be the bridge to the next one. And sometimes that bridge makes all the difference. I'm sure you all have the guts to ask and deal with the consequences of asking. And I'm sure you have the discipline to listen instead of to talk. That's all. Thank you.
You just said something that I talk about a lot, and that's having the discipline to listen. And I just want to talk to you briefly about this. When someone shares something with you, I often say that you listen not with your ears, but you listen with your heart. And you're more likely to understand the empathy required to help that person rather than advise that person. And the trick is, and I'm sure you'll echo this, is to ask at the right time. Don't ask in passing. If you genuinely think that someone might be suffering, don't ask just in passing. Give yourself time in case you get the response you're not prepared for. Listen with your heart and don't offer advice. Sometimes, and this is really important to hear, sometimes someone just asking gives you that micro step of strength to believe again. So the follow-up from that is to follow up in a couple of days. You know, I've thought a lot about what you were talking about. I don't know how you can manage it. It must be tough. If there's anything I could do, would you let me know? When someone is in that situation, they don't want an answer. They just want to be heard. Thank you so much for the talk and what you do. It's very important. Thank you very much. Thank you. Guys, we're a little over schedule, but I want to just keep pushing on because today, we've come here, we've made the effort. It's an important real conversation that we're having. Why don't we all just stand up for a second? Just stand up for a second, if you're capable. Honestly, I do this all the time. I do breath work about between 10 and 15 times a day. I'm not going to send you through a 3-minute breath work session, but just breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe it out for 4 seconds. When you're doing that, just try and identify, as the air comes in, is the air cooler coming in through the nostrils or is it cooler going out through the nostrils? Concentrate on that and you just bring your mind to a single focus. It's really, really important. Give your hands a bit of a shake, take one big breath and sit back down. Thank you very much. Guys, we're a little over schedule, but I've just asked Cookie that I say a few words personally, because it talks to a lot of being what's said, and I'm going to share something with you that's very emotional for me. But in my mid-40s, which is quite a while ago now, in my mid-40s, well, it started when I was 40, quite frankly, I would have fitted into this room really well. I was a big, successful man, financially doing really, really well, much loved in my community. I was the go-to guy. I described myself proudly as an alpha male. And I'm going to tell you, we've got some alphas in this room today, and they're sensational men. My problem was that I liked the way that looked. I liked the facade that I was showing on the outside. But life deals us with hurdles. It deals everybody with hurdles. And it doesn't matter how tough and how strong you are, those hurdles need to be lent into. We need to lean into that adversity to gain resilience and strength. But because that was affecting, or I thought that those hurdles might be affecting the way I was seen by others, I wouldn't approach those hurdles. And for me, it started with a really bad physical accident. I fell, believe it or not, 14 metres off the building. I broke my back in 3 places, I broke my hand, I broke my leg in 2 places. Now that's a terrible physical injury, and physical injury comes with trauma, emotional trauma. But again, I liked who I look like. I like to be that unbreakable man. So I just avoided that pain, and I ignored that pain, and I didn't want to talk about the trauma I was going through. My wife and I had been married for a couple of years, but we've been trying even longer than that, have children. And we had experienced a couple of miscarriages, infertility. It's another trauma. It's another everyday trauma that so many people go through. But again, we announced our first pregnancy so proudly at my best mate's 40th birthday. Everybody cheered us. I felt like a champion. I felt like one of the heroes of arm wrestling in this room today. But several miscarriages came after that. And then, during that time, I started to avoid talking about the fact that we were even trying to have children. I started avoiding actually any conversation. I started to withdraw from my community. The only thing I wanted to do, I didn't even want to talk to my wife, all I wanted to do was work. I'd spend as much time as I could at work, and everybody commended me for that. You're doing so well financially, everything's going well, you work so hard, you deserve everything you get. I'm now starting to have a very negative biased conversation in my own head about how everything was going wrong and no one could recognise it, and I didn't want them to recognise it. Something that happened to me next is going to happen to everybody in this room. My beautiful mum, who can only be described as an angel, lost her battle with cancer. And that's grief, and we're all going to go through that grief, and yet another trauma, another hurdle in life that we've got to get through, okay? And everybody in this room knows someone that's been through that or is going through it, or they are themselves. Me again, at a funeral, the proudest son on earth, didn't shed a tear, didn't show emotion at that funeral, because I wouldn't let anybody see my facade be dented. I wouldn't let anybody see the cracks that might appear on the outside. A year after that, a year after that, my wife and I had reached our 18th miscarriage, but it was our 12th miscarriage via IVF, another trauma. And when you've got a partner that's going through physical trauma, you have, and many of us have experienced this without knowing it, is something called borrowed trauma. Now at this stage of my life, I'm blaming myself for every miscarriage that happened. I'm blaming myself for my mum's loss, and I'm beating myself up for every reason I could possibly. I was really starting to despise myself. That night, when I heard that ever familiar scream from the ensuite, after recently seeing 17 weeks scans of our twins, I knew that journey was over, and I knew what the next step was. It was to go to hospital, the curette, and 2 weeks after that, if you will, maybe it was the straw that broke the camel back, I don't know. But we discovered from our gynecologist that my wife now has cervical cancer. Again, I didn't go to friends and ask for help. I reclined even further back into my own world. I now would not speak to anybody. Now, that period of my life, and I want to highlight this for you because of what you've heard today, I had no ability to ask anybody for help. And some of my closest friends could never imagine that I, Barry Dubois, the guy who's doing so well financially, who's got the beautiful wife, who's got the cars, who's got everything that anybody could want, could be struggling. But I was struggling so badly. It was a Thursday night, and I just decided that everybody that means anything to me would somehow be better off if I left this planet. I'd convinced myself with that negative bias conversation that no one realised I was having, because on the outside I was able to keep that facade up. And I'd written a letter to my wife explaining where money should be placed and how to survive once I'm gone, because I convinced myself once I'm gone, everybody can get on with a life. I saw no aspiration in life anymore. I live at Bondi Beach, 1.5 kilometres from the Gap, and I decided that no, it was going to be my ending. And the man that's standing in front of you, which you all know today has shown great confidence and somewhat resilience, except for when it comes to arm wrestling. I'd written that letter and I was quite calm. It was a pouring night and it was a Thursday, and I know that for this reason. A great friend of mine, who was my apprentice 20 something years earlier, had 4 beautiful children. And you know, the first 3 children that he had, 3 beautiful girls, I was that guy. You know that guy who's the first at the hospital with the biggest bunch of flowers, the biggest box of chocolates and the biggest teddy bear. For his first 3 children, I was that guy. But about 6 months earlier, he'd had his 4th child, and I hadn't so much as texted him. So think about that. The guy's at the first of the hospital for the first 3, all of a sudden doesn't turn up or doesn't even text you to say congratulations. And that's because I couldn't bear to have another conversation with another person. I'd withdrawn from society in every way. I'd work as late as I could and I'd take what I call a long drive home, so that I'd get home late enough to know that Leonie would be in bed asleep. I would just sleep on the lounge and I didn't have to talk about anything. I'd completely withdrawn from society. Now, on that night, it was the car phones were in the car back then, and the phone rang, and it was Gaz, that kid. And he rang up because he couldn't work out why I hadn't called about Jamie, his youngest child. And obviously I was calm, and I said to him, how are you, mate? And he said to me something I'll never forget. He played at Penrith, actually. He's a ball of a man. Beautiful man. I said, how are you, mate? And he said, well, it's Thursday night, so we're broke. because all tradies are broke by Thursday night. He said, I've come down to the bottle-o to get 2 bottles of beer. Simone is making toasted sandwiches at home, and me and the girls are going to watch the footy show. How are you going? And that brutal honesty, that vulnerability, or the ability to show that he was brave enough to say, I got no money, we're struggling, we're doing it tough. That bravery just broke me, and my emotions started to flood out. I couldn't control my emotions. For the first time in about 4 years, I cried, and I sobbed profusely. Gaz is not a doctor or a psychologist, he's just a good human being. And he lives at Cronulla and I live at Bondi, and he could sense something was wrong. He didn't know what, he still hadn't worked it out. But this echoes so much of what has been said today. He didn't give me advice. Now, put this into perspective, Cronulla to Bondi is about 35 minutes. But for the next 18 minutes, I just heard the words, I'm with you, Baz. I am with you. And he just kept saying that over and over again. And then all of a sudden, about 18 minutes later, the car pulled up beside me, and this man who's built like Phil gets out of the car. He's nearly, at the time, nearly half my age. He just reached in and he hugged me, and he just kept saying, I'm with you. Those words, I'm with you, that's not advice, and that's not a solution. That's a micro step to my recovery and belief in connection and purpose. He informed friends of the state I was in, and I finally started talking to my wife. As it happens, we sat in the car till about 2 o'clock in the morning, and then we went up, and believe it or not, sat in the lounge, and I woke up the next morning as the sun came up, and my beautiful penthouse in Bondi Beach, when the sun comes up, it's straight in the window, that's woke me up. And sitting beside me is that young man. And then he said, how about we go for a walk on the beach? And I hadn't walked on the beach for about 3 years. I live on Bondi Beach. I hadn't walked on the beach. Another micro step. And that's all it takes. It's not advice. It's just letting someone know that you're there if they need you. He put himself front and centre, and I'm proud to say that that saved my life. Now, 7 or 8 years later, and I'm going on a little long for this story now, but 8 years later, after dedicating my life to being curious on what those micro steps look like to gain strength and resilience and lean into adversity, I sat in front of 3 doctors, and the first doctor said to me, I'm really sorry, Barry, the tumour is gigantic. My best advice is to go home, tidy up your affairs, spend as much time as you can with your loved ones. You've got about 3 months to live. And I looked her square in the eye after 7 years of building micro steps of resilience through community engagement again, through realising my sense of purpose, through realising that there is another narrative for me. I said, I appreciate your advice, but I'm not interested in it. And I'd rather you leave the room. And I asked her to leave the room, and I said to the next 2 doctors, you don't know me, but you're going to get to know me, and that is not my narrative. I've been to hell and back, and I have the strength through those micro steps of resilience to give this shot, give this cancer my best shot. I don't care if it's 9 hours, 9 days, or 90 days, or 90 years. I'm going to give it all to the very end. And that came through the building of daily curiosity on how I can be better as a man in health and mental health. I feel honoured to be able to share that story with you today, and I just want to say thanks to everybody that's spoken here today and competed. Thank you for listening. And with that, Mr. DJ, I'm going to introduce 2 men that are going to take this event to the next level. Now, when it comes to statistics, Mr. DJ, There it is. When it comes to statistics, our first competitor he's 1 centimetre taller than his little brother. His weight varies depending on where he is at the moment. He appears an extra in the Stallone movie Over the Top. He's had semi-professional experience in Lithuania until he was deported from the country. He competed in the Winter Olympics before a tragic, some say tragic, chronic Felix disorder put him out of competition together. Now, career prize money consists of 8 schooners, 7 middies, and 4 3-ounce ponies. This man has competed at every level. Let me introduce Scott, the Grim Reaper Sullivan. There he is. He's competitor today. Let's ramp the music up because I couldn't be more excited about this young bloke. Proud Bulgarian man from Parks has worked as an educator. He's 6 foot and 88 kilos. He's taken part in the professional, semi-professional and amateur versions of Get a Grip right across the country. Let me introduce him, Tim the Tornado Ross. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. Tommy boy, step back for a second, son. Come on, back off, back off. I want a fit fight, okay? Look at me when I'm talking to you, son. We won't be mucking around. I saw what happened in Lithuania. I'm not happy with it. They're off! The first round of what could be the event of the century. Tim the Tornado Ross up against Scott the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper's got his hand on the knuckles and both sets of knuckles are white as they come, ladies and gentlemen. The power here is phenomenal. Round 1. The referee has got his eye on them very closely. I need some support for these guys. Let's work it up. Get on your feet. Come on. Come on, man. It's only going to be 1 round, so they've got to give it all. Pushing the Reaper. The Tornado versus the Reaper. Memories of Lithuania are coming back. That was a harsh disqualification. Can you talk while you're wrestling?
I was only doing one of those testicular checks, that's what I got.
It's a testicular check, Grit. Scott. There it is. Think of those testicles. Think of them. Grip tighter. What is soft? Is there anything soggy? Is there anything hard in there? Reach into the depths. Imagine showers just trickling down across your forehead and your back. You've reached down, a soft, gentle grip.
Can we call it a draw?
Push, boys, push. 2 men in the ring, but only 1 will stand. Work the distance. I think we should have put something on from Barbara Streisand. Come on, men, let's go. Push him, young fellow.
Keep looking at your hand.
Keep looking at your hand. This is a pulling game. We're back to another long bout. This is back when it was unlimited. What do you call it? Here we go. It's been a receive. Thank you, Mr. DJ. That's very good. Well,
too young.
Eye of the Tiger. Too good, the young fella. Now that was quite a bout. 2 men came into the ring, and 2 great men have come out. Now, as well as great arm wrestlers, you do an incredible bout for both of you for your community. And I want to take this opportunity. You might have to use your left hand to hold the microphone, but I'm going to ask you, because you'll do a better job than me, and talk to me, Scotty, about what you do within your community and why it's important to you.
Yes, I work in a program and along with Tim and GY, so we take young Aboriginal boys that are disengaged with education, disengaged from school, and then we run a program that gets them coming back to school. I mean, people will probably be aware that in terms of health, you know, it's a slippery slope. When you disengage from school, you're moving away from a lot of support when you're a young kid, a lot of places where you can get help. So staying engaged with school is really important for boys' health. When we first kicked off the program, you know, there's a lot of work that had to be done and we needed support, and Phil and Cookie and the whole team were amazing. We're only a small program that hopefully helps in a small way, but it doesn't matter to them whether you're big or small. If they think you do a good job for their community, they're on board, and they went above and beyond. So that's why we're here today, to give back, you know what I mean? Because Phil, Cookie, the whole team have done so much for us, so we want to give back to them. But like I said, I don't know if people are aware that education is strongly linked to health outcomes. So if we're not giving these young boys the skills and the education to understand where to get help for their health issues and, you know, where to go, then we're sort of, it's the first step is education. And I mean, this day is all about education as well, you know what I mean? So I'm a really big believer in the fact that education is key in sort of solving some of these really complicated issues that we have in our society. So we're here today to represent our program, but also to say thank you to Phil and Cookie and their whole office for all the hard work they do for the community and getting better outcomes for their community.
Thank you, Scotty. Do you prefer Scotty or the Reaper?
Everyday life, I just go by Scotty, just Reaper for the
You got to love a man that's, forget it. The Tornado, Ross, you also work within the education program. What got you into it?
Well, I was just getting sick of labouring really, and I had my mate Tim Bennett. He gave me a call one day and said there was a job going out there for an SLSO job, and took it. And thanks to Bennett for getting me into it all, and now I'm loving life.
You are loving life, and you something that a lot of people don't know about the Tornado is he started arm wrestling when he was in nappies, and he doesn't train a lot. He believes in just ripping in. And you've ripped in today, you got over the Reaper. How does it feel to beat up the old bloke?
Oh, I knew it was going to happen.
Honesty. This is what I was talking about, honesty. It's fantastic, isn't it? I'm just loving the theme of today, though, is smash your mate. Get a grip, smash your mate. Gentlemen, let's put our hands together for these guys. They're proud of what they're doing. Thanks so much for having a little bit of fun with me there. That was fantastic. The Reaper, the Grim Reaper. I'm very lucky and very honoured to be announcing the next speaker. It's John Money, and he's the CEO of the Perfect Man's Mental Health Charity. John Money, CEO of the Perfect Man organisation, is dedicated to creating safe, supportive spaces where men can connect, talk and support one another through challenges. Alongside his leadership and mental health sector, John is an experienced executive coach and project-based business consultant, bringing executive experience in leadership, organisational strategy, and excuse me, people. It's been a long morning. People development. Thank you. Passionate about improving mental health outcomes for men and strengthening community connection. John is widely respected for his authentic leadership style and his commitment to helping individuals and organisations thrive. Today he joins us and shares some vulnerable insights to men's health, well-being and the importance, and I love that, the importance of connection. Thank you very much and welcome to the stage, John. John, when did your charity start off?
Okay, so I didn't found Mr. Perfect. A guy named Terry Cornick, this is very relevant, started this charity Barry about 8 years ago. And the reason, I was going to get to this later, that he called it Mr. Perfect was perfectly captured by your story. And that sharing of that story weaves perfectly in with the understanding of what Mr. Perfect is, and how the connections that we can build through the simplest, humblest charity concept that we've ever seen, which is a free community barbecue that happens regionally, rurally, in suburbia, once a month, all across Australia at the same time, no alcohol, free barbecue. That's what Mr. Perfect is.
Well, I'm going to let you take the microphone and talk to that further. Thank you for saying what you did about me. I got very emotional talking about what I talked about today, and that's because, quite frankly, it was a couple of the toughest moments of my life. At the time, I refused to show that. We talk about vulnerability, but now I like to say, I'm not perfect, Mr. Perfect, but I'm brave enough to share my emotions, and that's why I'm here. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone. So I don't know where that word came from. I don't think I can live up to half of that stuff. I do a little bit of those things. But yeah, I've just got to mention there what Mr. Perfect is. It's a very humble charity. It runs, as I mentioned, it's a free barbecue. We'll come back to that a bit in about 2 minutes' time. But we've been operating for 8 years. We have a board of 7 inspired and experienced people, led by our fearless chairman back there, Lawrence Atkinson, and about 100 volunteers all across Australia that run a simple barbecue once a month within their communities on a specific day, generally the first, second, third or fourth Sunday of each month. We have the most low entry bar. We have no sign up, you don't have to pay, you don't have to give us your email. We put on social media where the barbecue's happening and people turn up. Bring a fold-out chair, sit down, and someone will come over, like our incredible orange host, Phil Donato, who's been running Mr. Perfect, I think 6 years, Phil. And you know, bear in mind, on the statistics that I had a look at, because we keep all the statistics, I'd say that Phil has had somewhere between 2,500 and 3,500 men turn up and be offered a free sausage sandwich with or without onion or something. Some of them that we go to go above and beyond. Trust me, I'll put a list out later so you can go. And I'll get to the important parts of what the thinking behind Mr. Perfect is in a minute. There are 2 things I'd like to draw attention to before, as a way of framing what we do. I don't want to trigger anyone or bring down the mood, okay? But the concept of male suicide, not excluding any other female or any other part of society, but every suicide is a catastrophe, right? On its own, just one. Through the family, through the friends, through the community, through time, through generations. And it brings, Lawrence and I were talking about this statistic we heard, and it sort of gels with some of the other things I've heard today, that up to 75% of men who hurt themselves, take their own lives or hurt someone else, have never engaged with a professional counselling service, ever. And apparently around the same amount, 75% odd, would not be diagnosed with a DSM-5 mental illness. So it's not schizophrenia or it's not some mental illness. It's isolation, it's loneliness, it's disconnectedness, it's the weight of feeling fractured and separated from the world that you should be connected to. And so at Mr. Perfect, we have a very simple way of thinking that a massive problem like that does not always demand a complex solution. So we run the most simple, humble, non-clinical, upstream suicide prevention program that anyone could conceive of. I think there's the simpleness that attracted me to it, as well as all those other things. I'm a lawyer and I've been a lawyer for a long time, so you get to see people in such a dramatically confronting stage of life and to try and help them whilst they try and deal with what they have to deal with. Like, it really highlighted for me how important that was. So Mr. Perfect deals with it in this way. It's local, right? It's free. It's low entry. It's an opportunity to chat, and Bruno touched on this word before with this concept, which I think is magnificent in itself, is connection. And we get stories we have barbecues all across Australia. So from the wilds of Tasmania, I think we've got 6 or 7 barbecues a month down there now. Western Australia, Northern Territory, everywhere. The stories pour in every week, from our hosts, that someone has come along and told, referred to us what a difference it has made for them to get to speak to someone who's not judgmental, who's not a doctor, it's not perceived as getting counselling, it's just a mate having a chat. And some of the stories are so inspiring. So for us, I think, and what I've heard here today, this idea about being able to have a chat, it's not to think of it as counselling or therapy or anything like that, but to understand that there might be someone who, it's worthwhile saying, are you okay? Is there anything that you want to have a chat about? Because you don't seem like yourself. I'm not a doctor or a counsellor or anything like that, so take that with a grain of salt. But I think the last thing I will say is that the culture that I was raised in this country is about the old concept of mateship, the concept of being able to give someone a hand when they need a hand. And Phil, I will just say what a champion Phil is. I'm not big on compliments, but the help that he's given us and being a part of this charity from the start and just running these type of events, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's incumbent on all of us to find that person who needs help. Thanks everyone, it's lovely to be. I love orange too, beautiful.
I'm afraid I'll put it way over. So we're going to go into something different in the arm wrestling world. It's called rapid fire arm wrestling. So my next competitors to the stadium, Tommy, let's push him through, son. We've got Jamie Stedmean, Council, Orange Council. Jamie is a men's behavioural change facilitator. Fantastic. Councillor, speaker, passionate help for men's. Line them up, Tommy. Get those arms pumping, and I'm going to talk through this one. Jamie is a men's behavioural change facilitator, counsellor and speaker, and passionate speaker about helping men lead healthier, stronger and more connected lives. It's a great message that we're hearing continually. Through his work at Resilience, they're away already through his work at Resilience with mental health and behavioural change. Jamie encounters practical conversations that support men, families and communities to thrive. Go, son. I'm going to try and get Mick Willing, CEO of Autumn Australia, out before this match is over. Mick Willing, 8 p.m. is a proven leader who has spent his life serving. Go, son. Spent his life serving and protecting people in New South Wales. A former New South Wales Police Commissioner. He has served nearly 32 years, including as the state's longest serving homicide court commander and assistant commissioner overseeing the Ghana and Special Tactics Commander. The right music for reading at the fire. There he is. Mick also led the New South Wales 2019 and 22 bushfire recovery effort and state coordinator helping communities rebuild after that terrible crisis. Tommy's got his eye on over there. From here I can see the muscles flexing, but I want to finish this off. Thank you, gentlemen. Come over here, gentlemen, as I finish this off. Mick is now the CEO of Autumn Australia. It's a non-for-profit organisation that's dedicated to supporting mental health and wellbeing for first responders, some of the people that do it tough in our community. This support extends to counselling, physical support, social connection and career management and mental health literacy programs and services. Guys, you've waited all day for that bout. It was a cracker. From this angle, it looked different to anyone I've seen because it's from a different angle. And, but do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's good fun. Mick's a good dude and well matched. It was like a couple of ice going at it.
No, you're very, very competitive, very strong. I'm going to say it for you because we're running out of time. Thank you so much, Phil. You've brought an incredible group of people together. And if there's anything you want to say very quickly?
No, not at all. There's lots of former first responders in the room and first responders.
Yep.
We know that first responders are 3 times more likely to experience mental health issues and suicide ideology, and that's what Ford is here to support people.
Good work. Thank you very much. And thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. I'm going to ask our next speaker, Dr. Joe McGirr, to the podium quickly. I'm actually going to do 2 things here. This is being very efficient. I'm going to get you to introduce yourself and jump straight into your talk, Dr. Joe. Thank you very much.
Barry, thanks very much, Barry, and thank you for sharing. Thanks for the work you're doing this morning. God, you're working hard. And thank you for sharing that story as well. And can I just, I've got to acknowledge my political colleagues first of all, Senator Repacholi and the Minister Steve Kamper, who I think might have gone, yep, and Roy Butler as well, and Phil. Now, I understand the Minister won both bouts against you and Roy. Is that right? Okay.
Did he tell you that?
I want to say that that's great. It's great that the Minister's a great guy. I think it's really important that the Minister won. I think that's great. And I want to say how smart Phil and Roy are to let him win, right? You know you're in the hands of great MPs when they let the Minister win, so thank you for doing that. Look, I wanted to talk a little bit. Phil, thank you for the invitation today. This has been a great event, and I drove up this morning from Waugh, got up at the crack of dawn to get here, so I was a bit late. I didn't know what I was going to get, I didn't know what to expect actually, I've got to say, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it, particularly the information people have been giving. It's been great actually. I was wondering what I was going to talk about. I did want to briefly talk about my Rural Health Action Plan. I won't be long on that, but I do want to talk a little bit about mental health. 6 to 7 men a day in Australia take their own lives, and the rate in rural areas is double that, at least in the city, so it's a big issue. And I think you've covered a lot of the stuff this morning that's going to help make a difference in people's lives. So congratulations, Phil. Congratulations, everybody here. And please look after yourselves. Now, I was thinking what to say of inspiring nature. I was watching a TV show last night called Night Agent. Has anyone ever seen Night Agent? I like American crime shows. I like British crime shows. I like spy shows, politics, right? This is pretty average, Night Agent, but Karen and I watch it and we have a glass of wine and it's a bit of time together. And the hero of the show is really good looking. He's not bright, I've got to say. He might be bright by American standards. I hope there's no one in the audience from America. He's boring, and thankfully the script has a whole lot of interesting characters around him, okay? So last night they're tracking down some guy who's running some racket that involves the CIA and corruption and multi-millions, and they're in a casino on a job together. The hero and a particular gnarly old guy that's been assigned to him, right? They're in the casino together, and of course they're stalking this guy and it's very dangerous. And the gnarly old bloke starts talking to the hero about work, because he's got this sense this guy's working too hard, and he says, you know, a man who has no purpose outside of work is in trouble. And I'm sitting there thinking, what? This is something meaningful in an American show? He said, it's like that guy over there on the poker machine. And they showed it over to this guy on the poker machine. There's a guy on the poker machine there just tapping away, tapping away, tapping away. And he says, you know what? A man without a purpose except work, in other words, the only purpose in his life is work, is like the guy on the poker machine. He says, he's just sitting there, tapping away, waiting for the money to go through, and he always thinks he has more time. The guy on the poker machine just keeps putting the money through because he always knows he's got time to win it back, more time. And you know, I thought, oh my God, that is so like work. When we're at work all the time, We always think, yeah, we'll have time for the family, we'll have time for something meaningful, we'll have time for ourselves, we'll just keep working. And I'm like that. And I got into a bad state about 15 years ago with my work, where I couldn't actually see how involved I was in it. My family could, and they tried telling me, but, you know, I knew everything, being a bloke. And eventually they managed to persuade me to run for Parliament. So to leave my job, do something completely different. And of course I threw myself into that. Didn't get elected, but boy, it changed my view on life. And I switched jobs, and in the next 7 years realised that I almost missed my kids growing up. It was that close. I had no idea what was happening in the family up to that time. And it was only because I'd switched that I suddenly realised, oh my God, the kids. And I had time for them. And I thank my wife for that, I've got to say. But just that memory of that and that thing on the show last night, I thought, you know, we spend a lot of time at work. And we do it for the best of reasons. But we also do it to hide. Barry, as you said so powerfully, hide, cover stuff up. So anyway, that's my advice. Mental health's a big issue. It's a big issue for men. If we don't talk about it, we need to connect and be careful of working too much. The last point was about the Rural Health Action Plan. Rural and regional Australians, life expectancy much less than in the city. We need health services. We're seeing declining health services, particularly primary care services. And Phil and Roy have backed me on my Rural Health Action Plan, which I'm pushing with the government. We've got to make sure rural areas have the services they need now and into the future, and we can't let them decline. I know the government's done a lot of stuff, but they need to do more. I agree with you, Mr. Mooney, about the fact that health services are a small part sometimes of addressing mental health issues, and we need the community and the support and functions like this, but nevertheless they are a part. And having a GP, nurse practitioner or an allied health practitioner you can talk to in your town is really, really important. So, Rural Health Action Plan is really important. Phil, congratulations on today. Thanks very much. And thanks for having me along. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. We can't thank Phil enough for today because this guest list is unbelievable. And talk about talent. The people are coming up and they know who they are, so they can say come up. Robbie Mortimer, the musician. Robbie Mortimer is an Australian singer-songwriter in the country rock scene. His music is a strong reflection of his experience. Is Robbie still here? Yeah, Robbie, there he is. Come on up, Robbie. His environment, his emphasis is nature and making connections with each other, and importantly, vulnerability, self-discovery and perseverance. Look at you, big fellas, handsome as. His passion for spreading positivity through music has earned him a very strong following. Prior to taking this leap of faith into music, Robbie continued to contributes to his community as a special needs mentor for Indigenous youth. We're going to talk a little bit about after that. You can make your way over to the arm wrestling stand there. Now, this guy, I was watching a bit of this guy on social media last night. I could not believe my eyes. Cody Houston, come on up, Cody. This guy, what a champ! Oh, here he is. I was astounded when I saw this chap. I said, where's Cody, where's Cody? And I kept pointing this way. I said, he cannot be that handsome and do what he does. This guy's a professional bull rider, and he just goes in as hard as they go. I'm going to read some of the highlights here. 3 times ABCRA National Radio Bull Riding Qualifier, 3 bucking bulls. Gee, say that 4 times quickly. 3 bucking bull, squeezing. Anyway, I keep going to that image because someone mentioned, you know, earlier someone said that Dan Repacholi had a penis in his hand. I had to get to the bottom of that, okay? And what it was is talking about prostate cancer or something like that, but there's an image going around of Phil holding this rubber penis, and someone, his mate, has zoomed in really close, and it's just something that won't leave my brain, right? But he's a good man all the same. And I've cut you off, young fella. Get in here. Go at this kid, will you? He was a great rugby league player as well before you got into bull riding, weren't you? This kid's not average at anything. He was a 2025 runner-up at the ABCRA National, Australian National Champion Bull Riding event, the 2025 ABCRA, I'm not even going to ask what all that is. National Rookie, Champion Bull Rider. When he's not competing in radios, I saw him meet his beautiful family up there. He's chasing his beautiful wife and the little kids around the spot. And he's looking forward to attending today's event. Which is your strong arm, Cody? You might got to be strong in both arms. Right arm, I know. I've seen Robbie with the microphone in his right arm, so he's going to be a great competitor. I know Robbie's in a hurry and I want to talk to him after. So jump on over here. Tommy, I don't have to keep it secret. Keep an eye on these two. Watch it. We got one of Robbie's songs going while this is happening. That'll throw Cody right off. Imagine strapping yourself to a bull. A wild bull. Who does that? I reckon Tommy, our referee, would have a go at it. He's scared enough of that shit. They're on. Robbie's lucky to last. Cody likes to spend. Oh, wow, there's some power coming here. No, Robbie's come back. All that. Come around here, Robbie. Hey, Robbie's just said it out loud. I'm going to say it. Was he having a bit of fun there?
He didn't even break a sweat.
He didn't have a go at the kid. He's tall, good looking, and powerful. It's like looking in the mirror. Honestly. Somebody else saying anything. Listen, I wanted to talk to Robbie. We know he's a fantastic musician, but what about your family? The more of a name, this is a family of overachievers. If you're an NRL fan like I am, your uncle Steve and his brothers for the Bulldogs are legends in the game. You're an amazing musician, but we all know my beautiful friend Amanda Keller. She's hosting the show, The Piano. Have you seen that? It's a beautiful show. Now, Robbie's cousin is just as, well, I'm going to say close to as talented as you are. She appears on the piano this season. Yeah, oh yeah. The first thing I've said today that you've responded to, and it's about someone else. That's disheartening, Phil. And so I was lucky to be backstage, and I got to meet your cousin. But where does all this talent come from?
My mum, I'll say that. I think mum. No, it's obviously been a cool experience. Grew up in a rugby league family, and I think most people in this room would understand. My mum and dad gave us the opportunity to do whatever we wanted to do. I'm youngest of 5 boys, but the one rule was as long as we did it properly. So that's probably been a part of our journey, is just ensuring that we're standing proud and doing what we do. And Aaron's definitely the pick of the bunch of the music, I say.
Well, I think you're doing pretty well. I've seen a lot of your work and it's amazing, but a very humble but high achieving family. You do a lot of work outside your music. Tell me about that transition into music and where you started.
Music has always probably been the thing that makes me happy and it's given me a lot of purpose in my life. And I spent a lot of years in this community playing pubs and clubs and building a good reputation to be able to get out there on the road and represent this wonderful community that I'm very proud to be a part of. And to be able to kind of take that into the classroom was a big thing for me. And
because Robbie was a special needs teacher. I think we can't let that go without mentioning that, because that's very competitive.
Yeah, that was a really special part of my life. Actually, I still have quite a bit to do with a lot of the programs in town, and as I said, especially in this community. So I think music's the best medicine in the world, and I get to put smiles on people's faces inside the classroom and outside as well.
There's no doubt about it that music connects people, and that's what today is all about. This young fella, I love him at first sight. He's connected a lot of the time to a crazy bull. Tell us what that's like, how you got into it, quite frankly, why you got into it, and how you're surviving to have such a handsome face through it. Take hold of that mic, I know you got a lot to say.
So sort of more invested in football when I was a young fella, and I put everything into that and sort of got as far as I could, and then got sick of it, I suppose, and got into bull riding when I was about 18, and I was always sort of around rodeo, all my family done it, and then it took me a while to get the hang of it, but now it's me. apart from my family, it's my life sort of thing. So
it is. You're incredibly successful. I would have thought like motorbike riders, bull riders would normally be a shorter, stockier stature, but you seem to have achieved great heights. Talk to us about that. Is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
It's definitely a disadvantage. Everyone told me I'm too tall to be a bull rider, but a lot of people wrong. So
Love it. Well, I love these two young men, and it's just another way we demonstrate what a great life it is in the country, because some of the greatest come from the country, and I want to thank you for us waiting all day to appear, and thank you for everything you do in your community and everything you do in your community. Big round of applause, guys.
Just really quick to say, massive thanks, Phil. You're a wonderful supporter of me and this whole community, and we live in a beautiful part of the world, and I'm very proud of that and to represent. I'm very grateful for you, Phil, and everyone in this room. So keep on and keep supporting each other. That's amazing.
We're grateful for you, Robbie. Thank you very much. Thank you. There's one more bout coming after the next speaker. I want to say I've got a couple of man crushes, and I think I made it pretty obvious with Phil Kearns earlier. I was a bit blah blah with that guy. I think he's a hero and I love him. But I'm going to say it. I've had a little bit to do with Dan Repacholi, and I'm going to go as far as saying that there's another man crush there. This guy, no, seriously, you know, social media has really just come to light over the last decade, really. And I follow Dan and what he's doing with social media, with his newsletter, his commitment to his community is inspiring to me. You heard the bio before, and you've seen the biceps in action, and now he's going to speak to us about for a couple of minutes on what he's doing and what's going to happen in the future. And again, very proud to know you, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Barry, and it's a pleasure to be here. And thank you for sharing your story earlier. Like, that was a very, very touching story, and to talk how you did about your lived experience, what you've been through, it just touches people so much more than what just having other people up saying a few things. So thank you for really opening up to everyone. And I won't go on too much because I know we're running late in time, but I just want to back in what some of the speakers have said. The Cancer Council, when we were talking earlier about cancer, when you get the test kit in the mail, it's the only time you can send a bag of shit back to the government. Do it. We've all been shitting on you for a long time, so shit on us. So come on, give it back to us, and we just need to get more of them sent back in, because if we can get more of them sent back in, that is more lives we're going to save, as we heard. So, and for your knacker bags, I pity Cody's balls, what he does on the bull riding side. That would be a very, very nasty area to work with, and he should be checking them regularly. But seriously, for the blokes, get out there and check your balls in the shower. A nice hot steamy shower, give them a little roll in your hands, and away you go. Because testicular cancer is a cancer that is a killer for blokes, because blokes don't talk about it. Blokes won't see their GPs about it. They'll have something that's not right, but they're too embarrassed to go and have that conversation. So we need to make sure that we're making these conversations normal as they can be. We need to be putting ourselves out there, and to everybody that's been a speaker here today, thank you for what you do in this whole men's health community, because without all of you doing what you all do, we would see a hell of a lot worse results out there, and those statistics would be a hell of a lot worse than what they are now. So I think you should give yourselves all a massive round of applause for what you do for men and communities all around this country. And thanks to Phil for putting this on. Phil, you've done an amazing job. Thank you. It has been good to have the arm wrestling guys here as well. And I didn't realise how much was in it, to be perfectly honest. I come from a bit of a different sport, and I have a newfound action for you guys I'll pay a bit more attention to. But to everyone, just keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being who you are. And from my point of view as Special Envoy for Men's Health, if we can get good, healthy women, good healthy men, we're going to have good healthy strong communities, and at the end of the day that's what we all want. So thank you, keep up the great work, and we will chat again soon. Cheers.
Thank you, Dan. Stay with me for 1 second. We've got a couple of contenders coming very shortly. Could be described only as raging bulls. These are young men from our community here, and they're raging back there and ready to rumble. You've showed that you're good at everything that you've done. Any advice for these young blokes coming up?
Go hard, gents. Enjoy yourselves, and remember, there's only one winner.
Brutal but honest. I love it. Thank you very much, Dan. Again, I love what you're doing, and keep it up. Thank you very much. To say raging bulls is to say the least. As they walk, I'm going to get you guys to walk in slow motion towards the podium if you can, because that's how I want everybody to imagine this. Finn Spalding, ladies and gentlemen. Finn Spalding is a 25-year-old local, proudly represents Orange City Rugby Club, a front rower. He's not mucking around, this kid, I tell ya. Finn was awarded the 2025 Rugby.com AU Try of the Year. Lucky I wasn't on the field. He says. Finn recently discovered the hidden talent of picking up heavy things and putting them down. It's the only bio I haven't rehearsed that's cracked me up. I'm going to read it again because I love it. Finn has been hard at work mastering the art of... No, I'll start again. He's discovered a new talent. I'm reading this for the first time, if that's not obvious. Finn has discovered a new talent, which is picking up heavy things and putting them down. In preparation for this event, Finn has been hard at work mastering the art of the bicep curls. That's obvious. Have a go at the monster. Transforming this local athlete into a human forklift. There's a big call. Love it. Tommy's already having a word to him. Are you worried about steroids, Tommy? Is that what's wrong? Is there a chemical enhancement or something here? No, smelling. Only an arm wrestling referee smells someone. Thank God you're not testing his balls. Is it too late? Beau Hartley. Here he is, slow motion. Beau Hartley, Orange Hawks. That's a mighty team, the Hawks. Beau Hartley is the Orange Hawks Junior who has come through the grades from Bloomfield Minis to first grade. Have a go at this kid, will you? You wouldn't stop him with a truck. Beau has always inserted himself. I could have used that line earlier. Beau has inserted himself into helping roles, whether it's helping the mighty Orange Hawks or previously captaining the Orange High School. Beau lives and breathes footy and contributing to his community. If he's not doing that, he's either spending time with family or his mates, and that's exactly what you should be doing. Have a go at these two here, arms crossed. For a couple of young blokes, there's a stack of testosterone going on there, isn't there? Have a go at it. Fades and off. Face it. Just hang on. Not too close. Are you flexing? Is that standard? That's not standard. No way. That's a flex. No, it's not. So, just break it up a little bit. Now, look at me while I'm instructing you, son. You've got a bit of a reputation. Do you want to talk about how you got that and what happened?
Not really.
I just made that up. We don't stop. No, excited about today?
Very. Been looking forward to it. Been practicing a lot. Haven't arm wrestled since about year 7, so it'll be good to get back into it.
Well, lifting heavy things and putting them down. Whoever wrote that by as a genius, the young bull. How you feeling, son?
Feeling unreal.
Yeah. I'm feeling unreal. It's exactly what my son would say. It's brilliant. Get up to the podium, kids. Young men, I should say. Have a listen to Tommy Boy. Oh. Handshake before the match. That genuinely says there's not going to be one after it. Have a go at the biceps on this kid, will you? And he reckons he's not on the juice. He's got to be kidding. Look at your hands.
You got to pull, not push.
Remember, you got to pull, not push. I think that's good advice for a young bloke. Go the way! Oh, fastest event. Have a go at your skin. There he is. Have a go at that. Yeah, I think I'm going to have a go with you. No, just joking. Well, that was an event. I I normally like to have a few minutes to think about something funny to say, but that was split section. Is that a split? No section. That was split second. Very powerful young bloke, this one.
Oh, mate, that's for sure.
That's for sure. The big front rower, the young bloke. What's your secret? What have you been doing?
I'm not eating my ground. Get in, get out.
Fair enough. I'm not here to muck around. Just give me a little bit of a song. I'm not here to muck around. I love it. The Raging Bull. Very good. Men, you've waited all day for this. It was the quickest event of the night, but I'm going to go as far as saying probably two of the most powerful people that come to the stage. I'm not joking. You have a go at it both. Fantastic event, ladies and gentlemen. Is there anything you want to say? He seemed like a man of few words, but let's give it a crack, shall we?
No, unreal event. It was really good listening to everyone who spoke today. Yeah, really good for everyone coming through, just to know that there's help out there, support out there, but wherever you need.
Well spoken. That right there is the legacy of this community. Right, I'm serious. That's the legacy of this community. A good, healthy, strong man who can talk when he's put in front of a microphone, because often that's not that easy. I congratulate you. What a great victory. Thank you very much. I'm going to give you an opportunity. You didn't have much time on the bench. I'm going to give you an opportunity to say a few words. What's this community mean to you, and why is a day like this so important?
Oh, obviously the community means a lot, you know. We're all in it together, and it's important that we look after ourselves, but also those around us as well, and band together and look after each other.
Well, that's one of the bookends of this community right there, and he sees us all together. That sense of community is fantastic. Well, I'm going to tell you, for one, I've had a great day. I've had a fantastic day with you people. You've made me feel very relaxed and comfortable. Phil and Oz and Tommy, I want you to come over here quickly.
Which Phil?
This Phil. These guys have travelled from Brisbane to be here today, from Queensland to be here today. They're all about elevating the sport of arm wrestling. You've done a great job. You know, you've been an observer, Phil, today. What are your thoughts on today?
Mate, fantastic event. I learned a lot just listening to the stories. I mean, you in particular, Baz, that was a very powerful story. Took a lot of courage, and it made us realise. I was watching this thinking, everyone's gripping up. Arm wrestling is such a great connective tissue as a sport to have a conversation. So we'll talk more about it, but you know, if everyone got, arm wrestling is not just a physical sport. It is, you're gripping up with someone and you are forced to have a conversation with them. It's one of the few sports where you can go to a club. We have clubs all around Australia. People will train, but while they're training, they're having a conversation. And I think that is incredibly powerful in sport.
It's been a very successful day, and that's a big part thanks to you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you, Oz. Thank you, Tommy, our referee for the day. Big round of applause for these guys. Keep the applause going, because I want you to give a big round of applause for Jack Buckley from Life Pharmacy and Fellowship Pharmacy, and his assistant, Mossad. Harry Fendel from Orange Physiotherapy has been working there behind the scenes all day, keeping our athletes warmed up and ready to go. We've got, I want to thank Andrew Baines from Deal, who's been working on the camera all day. He's recording this stuff. It'll be going straight to my Instagram, I know that. Keith, you love my jokes, don't you? If I just had a front row full of full donatos, I'd be the funniest bloke alive. And you. There it is. Who have I missed? Keith Drain, thank you. Communication, Public Affairs, and Political Strategy Consultant. I could use him when I'm having an argument with the missus. And for his photography for this event, James Sheeran, High School Captain Jackson Gill. Oh, they were the young men that were volunteering. I didn't get a photo of those guys. Great young guys, helping out as you came through the door. Thank you very much for all your help. And volunteers Emma Searle for an entertaining slide deck. Patrick Seal for the music, was very good, Patrick. Janice Harris and Julia Cook, I should say, for the meet and greet. But for me, I just want to say, as I'm sure all you would say if you had the mic, thank you so much, Phil Donato. And let's all give him a round of applause, and just another round of applause for all those volunteers who just stayed up there Saturday for this. Everybody here is a volunteer. I personally again want to say thank you very much to Cookie, the behind the scenes work that he has done today. just incredible. He came up with the slogan, "Get a grip," and I think it's just been a very powerful day. And all I can say is thank you for having me personally. I felt quite warmly welcomed here in Orange. I'm not looking forward to the drive home because I know the traffic's going to be shit, but it's my kid's birthday and I've got to get there. And thank you all very much. Drive safely. Take care.
Thanks, Baz. Before you go, I just want to say thank you to you for being MC. Another round of applause for Baz. We've worked in overtime today. I had a lot of things to get through, but thank you, and thank you for sharing that story as well. That was a very powerful story and really touched everyone's heart.
I will say to talk today, I love a microphone, don't I? I frame myself as a modern day elder. And what that doesn't mean you have to be old. Phil and everybody that took the stage today, and many of the people that are in the audience, we're all modern day elders. And an elder's job is to communicate the hurdles that he has faced, show the vulnerability he's had to face, to teach the young warriors that are coming through how to be better prepared. If we do that as modern day elders, our warriors create a stronger community, and I think you've got an amazing community here.
Oh, thanks very much, Barry. And Barry's gone through all the thank yous, but thank you to everyone who appeared and came and travelled and participated in the arm wrestling and who volunteered their service. I'd like to thank Brett Cook. He came up with the idea of getting a grip about, I don't know, 6 months ago. We were sort of brainstorming things. So give him a round. He's done a lot of work. It was like a wedding for me. I just turned up and everything was put on. But to Cookie and Emma and to Patrick as well and Jess and Beck back at the office and the work that they did to put today on, thank you very much.